force of your bond. A power like life itself. Unseen for generations. A dyad in the force.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Dyad in the Force, episode 268. The one about whoever's below me right now. Yes, this past week we had the finale of Maul Shadow Lord. We're going to be talking about that. But our first topic will be one that is very... what would you say, controversial? Choco, how's it going,
man? Sorry, I don't have the stream up, so I actually don't see the topics.
I mean,
I assume the controversial is the celebration tickets and the difficulty with which attaining them has gotten, which is insane. And I mean, I'm curious if this is still another incident of, internet doing what internet does. As far as people, trying to scalp them, trying to get in using bots and things to get in early and just wrecking things for the rest of us. But before we do that, let's introduce our guests. And so let us know who you are, where we can find your awesome content. And did you get a ticket for Celebration? Let's start with Alex.
All right, thank you. I'm Alex Lezio. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube as such. I'm also on AO3 and probably somewhere else that I'm forgetting. But I did manage to get... I did not get the 4-day pass that I was hoping for, but I did manage to get 3 individual day tickets to Celebration.
Nice.
I will be in attendance.
Question. Are you on AL3 as primarily a consumer, or do we have some Alex stories up there?
We do have some Alex stories. I've written a handful of Star Wars fan fiction. I always... There's a part of me that wishes there were a term to describe, like, I'm not doing, there's such a broad spectrum of fanfic.
Yeah.
Sometimes you find clips of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Commander Cody tenderly exploring each other. And then sometimes you find, I just have, like, a little look at Uncle Owen caring about his foster son. And that's more the realm I fall into, or just little snapshots of the universe. So if anyone wants to check them out, feel free. It's Alex Lezio on there as well.
I mean, I'm a little disappointed that you're not putting out any Obi-Wan Mpreg content, but we'll make do.
I've been saying for months we're gonna get there eventually. The Ahsoka Tano X Stinky the Hutt. Now that he's an adult, it's coming. We'll get there. Once I hit like 10K followers.
All right,
that's the milestone.
Everyone, don't follow him. We don't need that.
Gotta keep it down.
And we also have a bearded Maul.
Yes, hello. I'm John Shadow Lord. You can watch my show on Disney Plus. Hey, I'm Cubcos, Caleb, whatever you want to call me. You can find me on TikTok at Cubcos, a Star Wars TikTok, and here on YouTube at Cubcos, a Star Wars YouTube, where I just hit 1,300 subscribers this morning, so that was very nice.
Nice, congrats. You deserve it.
I did not get tickets for Star Wars Celebration, but neither was I trying to get tickets to Star Wars Celebration. We can't afford to go to the US at the moment from Australia. The conversion rate sucks. And also, I'm just kind of glad we didn't try and get tickets, because it looked like a very stressful time yesterday, or the day before, wherever that was, for a lot of people. I was stressing in solidarity with everyone.
Thankfully, we have some really great friends that'll stand in line for us and be our proxies. So we did get tickets. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Phidias says, good evening, Dyad and fellow monsters. I'm a Spooky Kitty says, hi, friends. Let's see. Aaron Z. How's it going, Aaron Z?
Also, special shout out to Jedi Master DePaul, who is the GOAT.
Officially good. Return of the Craig says, is it me, or does Cubcos look like Maul and Chewbacca had a hybrid Zabruki? Zabrusi?
So my lovely fiance Karen did this for me this morning, and she was like, Are you gonna shave the beard? And I was like, no, I don't want to shave the beard. I look terrible. I don't want to look stupid. Like,
it does look exactly as if like someone was trying to like paint themselves to look like a Dark Lord, but then they were like, but I don't want to shave, so they just
I don't want to I'm sorry, I look like a Make-A-Wish kid if I start shaving. Like, it looks bad. I look sickly.
For me, the way it hit me, because of it's just the mouth that's not uncovered, it hit me more like a Spider-Man mask at first.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Oh yeah, you got it pulled up.
And so it was that's where I went with it. Of like, okay, Peter Parker's, he's a little scruffy Parker. I'm into it.
Shout out to Darth Angel on our TikTok side, bonjour, and Bo-Katan's Lost Pauldron. As always, thank you for all of the likes in the TikTok side. Where did SH4T go? Okay, thank you to Obi-Wan Kenobi for the $20 Rebel Scum Con War Chest contribution. Hello there, Dyad. Let's get you to Rebel Scum Con. We appreciate you, Obi-Wan. I saw your post on Threads. We will be seeing you at Celebration as well, so we'll get to meet you there.
Can't wait.
Let's see. Kenny says, hello there, everyone. God, I would love to have that convo again. Which convo are we talking about? Which convo are we having? Probably the one we're going to be talking about in our second topic, because we have a live caller as always. Not as always. But we have a live caller, and it's welcome. And it's Joe Pantoliano.
Yo, what's up?
Let me add you to the call so you don't just aren't a phantom voice.
Hey.
I mean, that's a scary introduction, just hearing my voice out in the ether without seeing me.
How's it going, Earth?
It's going well. Outside of the stress of getting tickets, I mean, life is good.
All right, well, if you can't complain, you can't complain. Kenny says, Kenny says the ticket. Hey, you're welcome to call in too. We're gonna have an entire segment dedicated to talking about it. But yeah, so Cubcos can't afford the tickets or can't afford the travel. Alex,
I mean, let's face it. Like jet fuel ain't cheap right now. Like he could fly out here, and then the airline goes under before he goes back home. You never know what's going to happen. So, no, I definitely get that.
I also, let's be frank, not a great time to be visiting America from anywhere outside.
Yeah,
there's
1,000%.
That was a big
constant
part of
risk
it as
of
well. Yeah,
imperial entanglements, if you know what I'm saying.
well, in our defense, it's California.
True. Could be worse areas of the country.
It's going to be the best of it.
Orlando.
At the same time, I mean, and it's not even new. There are some places where they're checking people's social media posts to see if they have, did anything that might offend, their leader. So like, there's a lot of that's weird.
Yeah, we're getting dangerously close to like Supreme Leader, like North Korean shit.
I mean, I think we've passed what would be considered open fascism, at least with what happened this past week.
No,
I'll confess.
I'm saying though, we're like, because North Korea is a lot worse.
I specifically said just open fascism of like
It's
At least
like,
now
I can't imagine America having
to hide it.
Yeah, I can't imagine America having like open parades for like just Trump. Just like if you've seen
They
those,
already
like,
tried to do
They
it.
already
those-
tried.
those propaganda
I think he did one.
videos where
He
it's
did.
just,
No
like,
one
the
came.
military.
There was like a really, there was like 2 really squeaky tanks, and then we all just laughed at it. It was really.
Yeah, it was really lame.
Shout out to Marianne in the chat, Young in the chat. How's it going, Marianne? I'm absolutely on a watch list.
Hey, Young.
No, you're not. But I did want to talk about the ticket backlash because there is a lot of it. There's some drama happening right now, and I think a lot of it is valid, but I also have some kind of pushback.
I also have pushback as well, actually, thanks to Ryan, which I'm going to send you in Discord DMs, Pep, because someone from Gizmodo actually reached out to some sources at Lucasfilm and ReadPop to talk about the fiasco, and apparently the 20 ticket thing was an error because it was supposed to be 20 maximum on the individual day passes, not the 4-day tickets. That's where something on their side went wrong, because the VIPs were 4, and then it was supposed to be, I think, same limit for
there's
4-day,
individual
and
limits
then,
on each one.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be individual limits only on the individual day tickets. So like your Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, only those 4 individual. 4-day passes were not were supposed to have a lesser limit, but they accidentally messed up on the server client side and allowed 20 because they knew
so,
the solid
I mean, that
quick
makes sense. If you're trying to get individual 4 days, then that would give you a 5 limit.
Correct. It would give you like 10 theoretically.
Well,
I did see
if it's
someone-
a 20 limit like on individuals, then you'd be able to get 5
Yeah.
4-day individual passes.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
did
that was
see-
a mess up on their part.
I did see someone say towards the end of, like, before tickets were selling out, they tried to buy, I think they said they tried to buy 5 4-day tickets and it wouldn't let them. So I don't know if the limit actually got imposed at some point during the sale, or if it was just they were selling out at that point. But I think the limit did get put on those tickets at some point, because I know someone that tried to buy more than 4 4-day passes and they couldn't do it.
Right, and again, because I was in the call, with DePaul, Star Wars Lawyer, and a couple others, and Star Wars Lawyer, being how great he is, he was like, I'm going to start looking up, like, when tickets start going out of sale, and Ryan was actively texting me at this time telling me, like, hey, VIP sold out, and that was, like, 15 minutes in, and then about 45 minutes in, he was like, oh, yeah, 4 days are gone, and I was, like, 5 minutes from getting in. I was like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're. I think the best thing to do here is definitely nothing reductive. I think that they need to be additive with this solution. If they are going to do anything to solve this problem, they should put more passes up.
Which I think
And
they will.
do another round. But I've been thinking about it because so Valve did something recently with their Steam controllers and scalpers, where they put up like a reservation system, and that reservation system only counts accounts that have good standing and that have made purchases on the account like before the date. So like you can't like spam new accounts and make reservations like a scalper would. So I'm wondering if there is a solution looking forward with this system to. All right, so this is where it comes from, because people complained about the 12 pass limit last time, because there's a lot of people getting passes for friends and family, right? So recognizing that this was an error on their part, that it wasn't supposed to be 20 limit on the 4-day passes. I still think that complaining about a 20 pass limit is still a little myopic, because like DePaul's presumably getting tickets for a lot of people. DePaul's a goat. Everyone's getting tickets for their.
I mean, there's a reason why.
friends.
Because full transparency, I don't mind saying this. Like, like you guys were just to me like, hey, can you give me a ticket? And DePaul and I were on the call, and we were kind of handshake like at the start, going, if you're ahead, go get their tickets. Like they take priority at this point.
Yeah, I mean, at this, it's kind of like the
super appreciate it.
It's kind of like trying to secure tickets for anything, right? You do a buddy system, you get on a group, and you just work together. And so, like, when I'm looking at a 12 pass limit, it's like that limits people for trying to group up, and then the 20 pass limit enables scalpers, right? So you're kind of like you're screwed both ways. How do you deal with the scalpers, which is the problem, right? So I mean, your guys' thoughts on a potential solution, or like your thoughts on the situation?
I mean, I've already dived into like the Gizmodo thing, but I guess I'll dive into like another way. I wish they would have kind of got around it. Is hilarious that you brought up the Steam controller thing, because I was actually going to recommend that as a solution. Is when you buy tickets, you should have to be able to link it to a previous ShowClicks account that's already been made for at least presumably for like a couple days to a week. So like that's another way you can get around scalpers, is they would have to like extra prepare and like go out of their way and make like 20 ShowClicks accounts. And, like that would stunt them a little bit. And also I think it's an honor system too, because you're like, yes, this ticket's for me, this ticket's for my friend, this is this person. Like they can link it to names, and if they show up on the scalper market, they're like, oh, it's so and so, and they can find them out quicker. It like stunts it harder.
Yeah, I mean that was like the beginnings of a solution that I was thinking of as well. Like I think Lucasfilm or StarWars.com do they have accounts, or is it just a hub for like their news and posts and stuff?
It's just a hub for their news.
Yeah.
But ShowClicks is what is connected to ReadPop. That's how you reserve your panels and stuff. That's what you have to link your ticket to when you get your tickets, or when you buy them too. So that's why I think you link it to that. That's how you prove it.
Okay. Yeah, because like I know like the logistics would be pretty difficult moving forward, but I do think that like one way would be to have tickets tied to accounts, and they would have like a history on them, right? And if like an account has like a history of purchasing tickets and none of them were scanned by the account holder, then that account would be like blacklisted or something, you know? I mean, it's the same thing as like, you know, when you'd make reservations for panels, you put your pass in and you can link it to the pass. So, I mean, Kenny, you seem to be silent.
I muted myself because I'm next to a road, but it's this whole conversation. I've already did a video on it once, and I've even talking to DePaul. Harris knows this, but it's the accountability. What are we doing for the fans? It's one thing for the solution that you put up, right? Like you're in there as a placeholder for a large group, like for example, for us, for example, and we'll just use that as an example. That is one thing. But when you're actively taking slots and not even an hour or two at the most, reselling those tickets for dang near 2 to 3 times the original price on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat, whatever. This has now gotten to the point where we need accountability more than just solution making.
I would argue that accountability has already happened, because like I've noticed eBay and Facebook listings have already been ripped down. Like they're actively ReadPop's going out of their way and ripping them down. And even on like the reservation email, it tells you right at the bottom like scalping is permitted. Da 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 da. If you see scalping, report it to ReadPop.
Not permitted.
Prohibited.
Yeah, prohibited.
AKA Harris supports scalping. Just letting that know. That's what you just said. Inward.
Everyone clip that. I want to see that on TikTok tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't worked in logistics, especially in this sector. So I don't know how difficult it would be, but I definitely think that like, you know, ticket purchases should be tied to like, you should have like a reputation system on your on your account that's tied to what's making the purchase. Purchase history, age of the account, and yeah, like when you get your pass scanned or something, like, or what happened last time? Like you had to like activate your pass, right?
Yeah, you activate it as soon as you get it.
Yeah, so like when you activate the pass, then it should be tied to a name that you put forth when you were purchasing them. So there should be some.
And that's kind of where my thought went. Is like, what if they did
I
something
think Choco
where?
is muted.
I'm sorry.
So I can hear Choco perfectly fine.
Oh, I got
I
nothing.
hear him perfectly fine.
It's been muting individuals for me, so maybe it just got you. Like I've had to turn everyone on as they've entered.
That's interesting. Yeah. No, saying if they did something similar where there would be like a couple different purchasing waves, and as soon as you bought your tickets, you would have like 48 hours to assign permanent names to them that can't be changed, and it has to match an ID.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, after that point in time, anything that hasn't been registered gets refunded, and those tickets go back, and then they do another round, the following week or something like that. And so,
See,
like,
I love
even if you
all
did
of it.
book them,
Well,
I love all of this, including what Pep said earlier about recollecting tickets or keeping people honest, like an honest system or something like that. If they're not being fruitful, we should be basically recollecting these tickets again, refunding the money if they can't be paid, and then doing another resale, if you will.
I do want to point attention to what Ryan said in the chat, because in the Gizmodo article that I sent to Pep, they also did clarify that you can contact ReadPop in the future if you start noticing these like sales of tickets like on the secondhand market, and actively call them out. So I have a feeling, because it even says like in the confirmed email that like if like you, for example, you go out and report them, the tickets are not refundable, so the scalpers are just going to be out of money, and that will go back on the market. Because for every celebration, they've done a second wave sale in like January or February, closer to the event. So I have a feeling we're going to get a second wave.
This is where my problem with that logic is, and I'm not challenging it. I like the idea, but what if somebody can't find like a certain ID, or some way to verify that they're an honest caller?
well,
Now
I mean,
we're
but there
setting
would
up a
be
situation where an actual legit individual has all the means, has all the measures, has all of their documents, yada yada yada, but can't provide it. Now they're out of money, and they have no ticket.
Yeah. That's the thing. It reminds me of the thing about designing trash cans for park trails that bears can't get into. And someone talked about, like, there's a lot of overlap between the smartest bears and the dumbest tourists. And so you're always going to get those edge cases of someone like who meant well, but just can't necessarily find all their documentation.
Well,
And it's rough if they then missed out.
I'm amenable to Choco's solution too. I think that as you purchase your ticket, the activation process should be a lot sooner. And in the same way that I'll liken this to like the way I have to verify my identity to DoorDash, for example. If you're buying a ticket, you should, and you're activating it, you should have your face scanned, right? And so like, and this doesn't bar anyone from buying for their friends and family, right? You give them the ticket information as it's released, and then you activate it, and then you scan your face, right? That way, like, the scalpers don't have so much of a window to find a buyer that's willing to pay that much, right? So you buy the tickets, and like within like 2 weeks they send you out like a temporary confirmation like key to activate the pass, and then you scan the face. That ticket is tied to the face, and then like everybody else that doesn't within that a certain time frame gets their ticket refunded.
Well,
I'm having some internet speed issues. I'm gonna leave and I'll be right back.
the reason I also like that idea is because I've seen so many people like who have bought celebration tickets who have gone, well, I'm not even sure if I'm gonna go at all. I just bought it just because I wanted to buy it.
Yeah.
And I think that would also deter that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, over here in Australia, I'm in a bunch of Australian Star Wars Celebration groups on Facebook and that, and I was scrolling through them yesterday, the day before, and people were like, oh, I got my tickets. Other people were like, oh, I missed out on my tickets. And then I saw, honestly, a dozen or more that was like, okay, now I just need to decide if I'm going to go or not. And I was like, come on, what are you doing here? Like, I feel like when you buy the ticket, that's the committing part, right? Like, you're committing to going when you buy the ticket. I understand, like, don't get me wrong, I understand the uncertainty traveling to the US. No offense to all the US people right now, but I understand that uncertainty and that hesitancy. But less than a year from the event, spending hundreds of dollars on a ticket and then being like, oh, I don't know if I'm actually going to go or not. Come on. Be so for real right now. Like, that is the committing part. Sure.
I do,
because you're taking a ticket away from someone that was 100% going to go, and now that ticket is sitting with someone who is 50-50 on going.
Well,
I don't like that.
You can't really account for all circumstances, right? You're not necessarily taking the ticket from someone who's 100% going. You might be taking it away from a scalper, right? But like in regards to what you were saying, like it's exactly for this reason that the tickets are being placed a year out. Right, and so people are having to make this decision before they even know, like, maybe 3, 4, 5 months from celebration if they're going to be, like, schedule-wise available or financially available to go, right? And so, like, I get that you want to secure a spot, and then you're like, okay, at least when it goes to those people, they'll be able to be like, I don't think I'm going to be able to afford to make this trip. Let me reach out to my Star Wars friends and see if they need a ticket, right? In this case, I had an extra ticket when I was in London. There was a Anakin cosplayer at a pub we were at. And I was like, answer these trivia questions and I'll give you this ticket. But like
that is so you.
But it's shout out to oh man, I don't remember his name off the top of my head. But you can find the video. I mean, I posted the video on it years ago when we were at London. But you can't account. I mean, it's just difficult to account for every single person's individual circumstances.
Well, like what we're talking about is like obviously not the people that are like committing to go. Like, for example, like there's some uncertainty with me for some days. Like I'm like, I don't know if I can clear it off with depending what I'm doing next year, but I still bought it because like I know for sure I'm going Saturday, Sunday, and Friday. Those are for sure locked in. It's Thursday where I'm kind of like don't know, but we're talking about people that are like like you said, like they're not committed to going. They're just kind of like, oh, it's figure out later.
Yeah.
Type of situation. That's what we're talking about. More not the people that are like planning to go.
I have less of an issue with that. The main reason I have an issue with it is because it is people here in Australia doing it where, okay, yeah, you've bought the ticket to Celebration. You also have to buy airfare, which is several thousands of dollars. And it's just like, I feel like you need to be committed if you're buying a ticket for an event in another country a year out. I don't know. Something about it no, I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me.
I also have to agree. I also have to agree there as well, because let's be fair here. Right now, politically, we're not in the best of situations. Like there's a lot more than just, you know, how much this is going to cost and airfare and all that. There's the political spectrum. There's how big of a deal this specific celebration is. Like, this could be one of the biggest, if not the biggest con of the year. Period.
How's it going, Real Elf? Well, I mean, that's why I kind of approach this with a little bit more of more measure, because we don't know how our lives are going to look a year from now. We don't know how long how this country's going to look politically a year from now. We don't even know how travel's going to look a year from now, right? You might have committed, and you might have booked your tickets. Like, my mother went to Sweden like a couple of weeks, a month ago, and booked her tickets months in advance. Day of, like, she had to change her itinerary because you know, TSA was on strike. Airlines don't have staff. Like, it was rough. And then, like, again on the way home, it was changed again. So,
but again, we're also
it's
not
rough.
talking about people like that. We're talking about like people that are just being disingenuous about it.
Yeah, the issue here is how do we combat scalpers?
Right.
Like, I really don't care about people who are shaky about whether they can fully commit or if they have the funds for it a year out from the event. Scalpers are the douchebags. They're the scumbags.
I know this is probably a bad time to enter it, but lower the number of tickets that you can get. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. The principle of the thing, like the 20 tickets this time around, it makes sense for a large party. For like our group or other groups that we know of, right? It makes sense to get tickets at least that amount. But it also opens up the door really, really easy for scalpers. The 12 limit, even I can't fathom 12 tickets, especially at the, like, say, the 4-day price, just simply go out the door. Personally, I would argue either a 4, 5, maybe even a 6 ticket limit.
I would say 8 feels like a fair number.
We do know from the article, though, that was just like a systems error. Right?
Yeah,
So
I'm just putting it as a hypothetical. Like, moving forward, tickets for large groups need to become smaller.
I think so, but at the same time, like, the thing that I'm like peeved at the most is that, like, people complained about 12 ticket limits because it was too little, because they were buying for their family and their friends, and then erroneously it's 20 limit and they're still complaining. So I get it, but we need to focus our ire at the problem, which is scalpers, right? I think there could be a legitimate circumstance where one person has 20 tickets to buy, whether they're individual days, 4 days, or VIPs.
Well, like Harris said, like the limit needed to be on those 4-day tickets, because 24-day tickets is getting out of hand a little bit. I know someone who was buying for their family, which is 5 people. They got into the site, 4 days gone, VIP's gone. They bought one for each day. Boom, there's 20 tickets right there for 5 people for the 4 days. You hit that 20 really easily when you're a group or a family. The 4-day one, though, that limit needed to be on there.
Yeah.
Correct.
I think so too. But just to reiterate, like, before Choco stepped away, I do think there needs to be a verification process. I think tickets need to be tied to a face, and that shits on scalpers, because, like, they don't know who they're selling to. So it's like,
do they have they don't have an official resale system, do they?
No, their official resale system went down in 24. So they used to use a company called Light, which would buy people's resale tickets and sell it back at face market value, but the company went down 2 years ago.
Right, because I was going to say, like, I feel like there should just be because I'm not really super familiar with how celebration tickets work. I've only ever been to Japan, and that was easy to get tickets for. Like, there should be one place where you can resell your ticket through an official reseller. If they appear anywhere else on the internet, they are taken down, they are null and void. There needs to be a way for ReadPop to track which tickets are being resold, which I think goes into back what Pep was saying. I don't know. I don't know if you're ever going to be able to 100% combat scalpers, but you can definitely make steps to make it harder.
There definitely needs to be measures. Like DePaul said in the chats, again, shout out to DePaul, who's a goat. They're taking down resales on those platforms. So, while that doesn't do anything for people who weren't able to secure tickets, it shits on the scalpers who won't be able to sell those tickets. And so,
right.
I think the additive measure moving forward would be another kind of reservation round of tickets. The only problem is there's no centralized verification process for the accounts tied to making the purchase, which is why I think that system should be implemented immediately.
Right, which is also good because if it's ReadPop that's actively going to these sites and rip them down, I think they can also figure out who it is and then remove their tickets, because they said, like you said, when you buy the tickets don't technically belong to you. They belong to ReadPop until they ship to you directly, or you get it from will call.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is when you're reselling it, you're not putting the confirmation number on that listing.
But you could find the emails and connected that. There's ways you can connect it back to the original seller.
I don't think they're doing this from one single email.
People are stupid.
True. I will say, as much as there was obvious scalping happening in that, I do want to say I don't think the scalping was maybe as widespread as people will make it out to be. People need to remember, Celebration has been away from the US for the last two celebrations. Going back to LA, the 50th anniversary of Star Wars, this was always going to be a huge celebration. Like Kenny said earlier, this was going to be massive. And it is easy to blame scalpers. It is easy to blame ReadPop, which I'll talk about more in a minute. But I do think fans did get tickets, but at the same time, there is obvious scalping happening, but I don't think it is at the level that people might be claiming.
No, I'm going to say definitely probably more than 30% of all tickets sold were probably scalper. Everything else was all legit fans.
I mean, there's no way to substantiate that.
I mean, there's no substantiation, but I'm just saying, I can believe that maybe at least a good 30% were scalped. Everything else went to fans, and we're here. Because this like Tabo said, and what I will reiterate again, this is the con of the year, of the decade, of the century, the whole nine yards. This is celebrating an IP that is multi-international, multi-generational. This is something everybody loves, and everybody wants to go to it and celebrate it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna say, but at the end of the day, it's ipso facto, they're taking the ticket away from someone, right? And we need a solution from ReadPop and Lucasfilm to give people another chance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's great. They're pulling down the resales. Screw them. They're non-refundable. Put up another another round. Because
I think
if they don't, then the people are still out of luck.
And I think, it was already said best here, I mean, all they would really have to do is establish a single reseller channel, and that single reseller channel would be someone that they are actively working with. And so you can limit the pricing on it. Also, the tickets are ReadPop's until they ship out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this also means that any ticket that is purchased, like they would be able to keep track of what has been purchased directly through the website and what has been purchased directly through this official retailer, and everything else, if they monitor it, could be blocked or sent back or whatever. They can actively take down anything that's sold anywhere else, blackball any of those accounts. And I don't know, there just needs to be a better way for them to monitor it. You know, like the main channels, I feel like they need to be able to work directly with these companies so that they can like buy them from the scalpers and then use the company to like refund their money, and then take that ticket and it just goes back into the general population.
Agreed. And not to like change the topic a little bit, but still on celebration tickets, but just kind of switching it a little bit, because I wasn't aware of this until yesterday on Pod Ones, and obviously I saw a little bit of other creators talking about it. I'm also tired of the narrative that only the influencers got tickets and the regular people didn't, and it's like
I saw something like that, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not going to speak for anyone at the moment, but we know a bunch of people that are in with Lucasfilm, and they didn't get any type of special treatment.
We have been in with Lucasfilm, and we had to depend on DePaul.
I've even gotten a ticket in what, 2022 from Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
And they don't tell you until like a week before the convention. So like you already have another ticket by then. So like it ain't no, that ain't it.
Also like, you know, when it comes to like social media influencer partnerships and creator partnerships, that stuff is allocated well in advance. It's not part of the public pool. Like same with press passes, same with media invites and any kind of like press junkets, right? It's all like set aside. So it's not like they had like 1,000 tickets that are going on sale, and they're like, oh, we need 300 of that for influencers, and that removed 300 from the pool. That's just not the case. Also,
Alex, how is your experience buying celebration tickets for the very first time?
In all honesty, well, so for one, I did not buy them myself. I had my lovely fiance who was at home while I was at work, and so
everyone
she took
had
to
proxies.
It's you gotta.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, relatively uninteresting. That's why I don't have a whole lot to say here. Is just like, yes, we wanted the 4-day pass, and it sold quick. We were very surprised that like they were gone the second we got in. But after that, it was just we picked. She grabbed a couple days. We got them.
Mm-hmm.
We were one of the lucky ones. Got in smooth.
My first celebration, what was that, 2022 in Anaheim?
Yeah.
I was in line with everybody else. We were all on a Discord call. And so it's just, I can't stress this enough for anybody that, and you guys can take advantage of this if you're joining the Dyad community and you want a group of people that will work together with you. It is super important to have proxies. It's super important to have friends that will accommodate you if you ask them to help you out. But we were all in line. I think there was like 15 of us in the Discord call, and I think Aerith was there too. And we just had a bunch of people be like, okay, I got in. And then so like, we would have a bunch of people, oh, can you grab me a ticket? Like, it was just like a handshake kind of thing where as soon as someone got in, they would make sure to grab a bunch of tickets to whoever needed them, and then they would free up their line position. And that would happen until everyone in the call got a pass.
Yeah.
So this time around, obviously, I wasn't at the computer. I needed I asked Harith, but DePaul was ahead of him. So
I mean, because we had a handshake agreement beforehand, I was like, whoever's ahead is getting Choco and Elements tickets.
we appreciate you guys. You guys are goats. But yeah, scalping has been a problem for a long time. Celebration is one of those events that people across the world want to go to, and there's going to be issues like this.
I will say, I do think ReedPop really needs to improve. Not just with the ticketing process, but just with organization of the convention itself. Like, Japan was my first ever celebration, and don't get me wrong, I had the best time. I had an amazing 3 days. It was so much fun. But in the lead up to it, there was things that was just mind-boggling decisions from them. The celebration store, where you go in, you can buy all your merch at the show. They put up times for that, where you could select, like, I think it was a half-hour slot, and that was the time that you would gain entry into the store. They put up all that. You picked a time. Awesome, you have your time. They put that up nearly a month before the schedule for the panels was out. So we picked a time. A month later, the schedule for the panels comes out. You have the reservation system for those panels. Karen had picked a time to go to the celebration store, and it was at the exact same time as the Ahsoka panel. So she now had to choose which one she wanted to do, whether she wanted to go to the panel, did she want to go to the store. Why was that not done the other way around? Why do we not have the reservations for the panels in first, and then have the celebration store so you can actually plan your day appropriately? There was the art show. They had pre-orders for the art show. Everyone bought art pieces. I bought art pieces. And then inexplicably, everyone was refunded what they bought. And there was no communication as to whether we still had our art pieces. Did we have to rebuy them? Did we have to pay when we get there? There was a whole debacle about that. And then when we got there on the day, we went to pick up our art pieces. Their system crashed, and no pre-orders could be fulfilled. You could only buy new art pieces until they got their system back up and running. And then when they did get the system back up and running, there was 2 people checking tickets for the pre-orders art shows. There was 105,000 attendees over the 3 days at Japan, and they had 2 people checking tickets for the art show.
Yeah, that's terrible.
And it was just, there was things like that was just constantly popping up. And don't get me wrong,
like
I understand the logistics of
broken.
running an event like this is insane, especially when every 2 years it's in a different location, it's in a different country, you have to work with the local staff, it's in a different venue. Like, I understand
but even
how
still,
crazy that must be.
Well, I was going to say,
last time it was in Anaheim. If you wanted to go to the store, that was just your day.
Yep.
That was 100%.
Yes.
That was your entire day. If you wanted to buy anything,
I was gonna say that because I remember. I don't know. I think you were there, Choco and Element. It was while we were waiting in line to get autographs by Project Luminous, and the person ahead of us, who was not in our group or not in this community at all, we were having a conversation. We were just complaining about ReedPop's organization, and we were just like, "This just sucks. This is just terrible." And the person, I think, turned around and goes, "I've been to every celebration since like 2015. It's like this every time. They treat it like it's their first ever convention."
Yeah,
And they never improve.
But that's the thing, because my first celebration was 2015, or like where they dropped the Force Awakens trailer, but it was a different company then, and honestly, it actually was a better run then. But I also have worked for San Diego Comic-Con for I don't know, 6 of the past 8 years. Like, it's not hard. you know, like, sure, like it's the same thing that's going to happen. It's not like this shouldn't surprise anyone.
Yeah. Shout out to Real Alpha. Thank you for the 20 heart puffs. I'm not going to disagree with the notion that ReedPop or any con organization needs to step up their game. But to echo Choco's point and Harith's point, you're not going to see everything at Celebration. You're not going to see everything at any con. It is a bingo card game of what you can get to, because there's going to be panels that happen at the same time. You're going to have one for Rebels and one for like Ahsoka, and you're like, so you can't line up for both. So I understand the systems do need to be upgraded and be better organized, but it's a roulette, man, when you get to Celebration. Like, what you're willing to, because you can be in a line for a panel you really want to get into, but you have to be there like 2 hours in advance. right?
Dude, Elman, I mean, obviously you had a reservation for Studio Showcase in London, but you remember Bale, myself, Tate, at like, it was like what? They told everyone to be there like at 8 a.m., which is 2 hours before the panel starts.
Yeah.
People were lining up at 6 in the morning, and Bale and I just had a sixth sense. We're like, we're just leaving at 5:30. We're just going now. And then we text you images of like, this is the line. Get over here.
And that's the thing, right? You're never going to see everything. There's going to be a panel that you're at, right? And it's still going, but the next panel starts. Or you want to go to a panel that starts at 4, but in order to get into the panel that starts at 5, because technically they're an hour apart, you can watch both, but in order to get into the one at 5, you have to line up at 3, so you can't line up for the one at 4. And so yeah, I mean it really is a guessing game, but
And
you
also
really just have to line up for the ones that you really want to get into.
And if it's a big panel, that even like complicates it more, because it's like, if you don't have a like reservation to the panel, it's like, do I go to one of the streaming rooms, or do I just try to gun it for the main stage? It's always the streaming rooms, guys. Do not try to gun for the main stage. You'll miss out 9 out of 10 times. Do the streaming rooms. That
Galaxy
is the
Twin
debate.
Sun stages, guys. Galaxy Twin Sun. That's all you need. Don't even try for the celebration stage.
All this being said, I hope Alex, I hope we're not like making it sound like a freaking clusterfuck, because you will have a
It
good
is
time.
just in a good way. Just
Yeah.
like, you know,
gonna say, like,
you enjoy
Just
it.
pick your battles.
It's valuable information, you know. It's always good to have the strats ahead of time.
Exactly. Or you could be Johnny and you can just kind of like finagle your way into each and every panel.
I don't know how he
time.
did it. I don't know how he did it.
Like he would, like when we were in London, he would just like report back to base camp and it's like, I just got into this panel. I'm like, what the? I just walked in. I'm like, I don't understand what you're doing, dude. You're Shang-Chi or something.
I'm not gonna out them, but I had a friend in over in Japan that only had tickets for Friday and Sunday, and we were walking around the con on Saturday, and ran into her, and I was like, "How are you here?" And she's like, "Oh, don't worry about it."
They probably,
she just
did
walked
the-
out of the Andor panel as well, and I was just like, "How the fuck did you do this? Like,
They
how are you
probably
here?"
did the FBI thing where they're like, FBI, because they flashed the pass.
I will
I
say,
swear before they
there was one time I was at I was hanging out with some of my friends who were at San Diego Comic-Con. I didn't have a ticket that day, but there's plenty of stuff to do outdoors there. But I was walking and I mean, I stepped over this little tiny, this like cement thing. Like, not like I was trying to climb anything, or I was just like, oh, I wonder what's over here. And then I ended up like, it started out like in a hotel lobby, and then there was like I ran into like a loading dock, and then I went through a door, and then I was on the convention floor. And I was like, I don't know how I got here, but we're here now. So
Gotta act like you
Choco
belong,
was
man.
going into a speakeasy.
Just come off the floors.
You just starts
happens?
walking around giving out commands.
No, you just start speaking like, you just start doing the Cassian Andor quotes.
I was gonna say, you know, you just walk in like you belong. They don't even question it. They feel fat and satisfied.
You just
Hey
like,
man, just get a white Ford truck, and you know you get a high visibility vest and a clipboard. You can go anywhere. They won't stop you.
you just wander off into like Sam Witwer's trailer, and then you're just like, hey Sam, they're ready for you. He's like, for what? I don't know, just come out.
Ready for you for something?
They're ready for Unleashed. I don't know. Let's catch up
I would
with the
say,
chat.
as much as we're complaining about the organization and everything of Star Wars Celebration, it is an incredible event. You'll have fun. Like, it is so much fun. It legitimately the best 3 days of my life. Like, I had an insane amount of fun. It will be great. I will be watching the live stream all 4 days from Australia, and I want to see everyone on that live stream at some point. Like, go to the live stage, just wave your fucking hands around. I'm going to be watching the entire time. It's my goal to see as many people on the stream as possible.
Yeah, we especially got
yeah.
excited. It's going to be right in the peak of Starfighter, like, promo campaign. So, like, is
Yeah,
Gosling
like-
making an appearance? Maybe.
Yeah.
We're gonna get a new
100%.
Jedi Order
yeah.
as well.
Are we? Hell yeah. Here's open.
It's
We're getting
2027,
Jedi-
man.
Yeah, we're getting a Jedi 3 probably announcement.
That'll be sick.
Of course, they'll be closer to a Starfighter release, so we'll probably have a trailer already.
I would
Drops?
actually Element. I don't know if you remember a studio showcase with. It wasn't Star Wars related, but for indie, it was like what 2 or 3 months out, and we got like 25 minutes of footage.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I think we'll get something similar for Starfighter.
We
We'll
might
see
be
a
do
section
that.
of the movie.
I also think that next year we'll be a lot closer to having something with New Jedi Order. I mean, I think in the next 6 months they might. Because I think the last
I really
update,
hope so.
I think the last update that Daisy Ridley gave was that they're actively reading scripts now, right? Instead of we don't have a script. Now we're reading scripts now. So
I wouldn't be surprised if Daisy Ridley gets announced as a guest for it's the 10th anniversary of Last Jedi, and then she shows up during one of the main panels. It's like, "Psych, guys, New Jedi Order,"
the new Jedi.
because that's how you stealth her in.
We had the Last Jedi, and now it's the new Jedi.
Shout out to X-Core Gamer Skills says Holy Collins Batman. It's like, yeah, the ticket situation. DePaul says it gets better as the weekend goes on. Absolutely, especially like outside of the show floor when you start hanging out with people that you're meeting for the first time or have been mutuals with for a long time.
Also, that isn't DePaul. That's Ryan PW.
Oh,
Odd
man,
ones.
Jesus. How I only they're both Ryan in the chat. Okay. Shout out to Ryan PW. Xana says Celebration is the only convention where I want to see every single panel. That's so true. And it's the only convention where you can be for damn sure that people that spent the money to be there actually love Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna see chuds there spending thousands of dollars to get to that place, only to be the most miserable people ever, right? I remember. I think it was Choco. You were in line with us, right, with DePaul, where this kid had a Last Jedi like shirt that was like dogging on it, and then his dad was like, "Put your jacket on, you bitch," or something like that. Yeah, man, his kid was a chud.
And also, like, even if they're there, like, they're not going to start anything. And most of the time, because they just know better.
Yeah, they know it's where they're outnumbered.
Fulcrum 506 asks tips for hotels near the convention center in LA. So the best bet is always going to be the Marriott, the Hyatt, all of the hotels that are connected to the convention center in some way, shape, or form. But I will tell you that the LA Convention Center and downtown proper LA itself is so condensed and narrow that you can get a hotel a couple of blocks away, and it's not gonna be that far. It's not like if we're thinking about like where we stayed for DiadCon, it's not gonna be that far, right? I think we were like a mile and change away, and some people chose to like walk to Disneyland.
Disney? Yeah.
Whereas downtown LA is a proper grid. You'll if you centralize the convention center and kind of expand a mile out, there's going to be dozens and dozens of hotels that you can get, and it really is just a couple of blocks. So you're not going to want for more hotels.
Obviously, it depends on like what you're doing at the convention. Because obviously, if you're more cosplay heavy, try to get as close as possible. But I know some people were recommending going a little farther out than just taking the train over.
Yeah, that is true. So yeah, I mean, like, there obviously it's gonna be like convention pricing. You're not gonna avoid it, but there will be a lot of options for you around the convention center, within a block, within 2 blocks, and if walking is no big deal, you know, then you're set. Choco, did you want to say something?
Also, I mean, if you just find out how far you're willing to walk, it's not bad to Uber from where you are to where you're willing to walk from.
Oh, that's true.
So
Yeah,
it's really
never.
difficult if you're trying to get dropped off at the convention center, but you have them drop you off, you know, a little bit away. That's pretty convenient.
Yeah.
I still actively remember the Uber lines to Anaheim, and they were just like a straight like block, and they were just going up and around, and you're just like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Yeah, if you
Like,
Uber directly there, yeah, you might have a bad time.
But yeah, there's a lot of places you can Uber to, and it's just across the street, and it'll be fine. Fulcrum says, "Thanks, guys. I got 4-day tickets, and it'll be my first celebration, so I'm pumped." Well, I hope you walk around with a label called Fulcrum 506, so we can pick you out of the crowd and we can meet. 'Cause I'm awesome.
Not only that, but prior to the convention, I plan to do the thing I used to do before, where I'll do a live stream, and I'll try to get a bunch of people who are cool, who are all going, to join in a call. So you will meet some people before going in. You'll have a bunch of new friends even before you show up, and then when you guys see each other, it'll be like old times already.
Yep.
I thought you were gonna hit the old. You just walk up to you guys, and go, "Oh my god, is it Choco or Element?"
No,
Remember that happening in Anaheim?
The correct one is, hey, it's the nice one.
Used to be.
Hey, it's the dweebs who like Last Jedi. Everyone get them.
No, 'cause I remember
honestly-
sitting in line with you guys, and I think Element got recognized in Anaheim, and I was just like, "What is even going on right now?"
I got recognized at Scum and Villainy, and they thought that Choco and was Choco? Were you there with Char Char and who else was there? I remember I was with tall people, and I got recognized as Scum and Villainy, and they were like, "Are they your bodyguards?" I'm like, "No." I'm not big enough to have bodyguards.
Char is a bodyguard would be the funniest
I
thing
mean,
ever.
I would consider him a bodyguard. Yeah. I'm a hobbit, man. But honestly, 100% of our encounters with people that recognized us have been truly nice and awesome people, and are just truly grateful to like their number one thing that they say to us is like, "I learned so much from you guys," and that's all we really need. If someone asks you that, Pep and I hear if someone asks you that, Pep and I hear if I'm 100% saying yes. Oh, okay. Yeah, Dave's pretty big too. There's a lot of y'all out there that are just like massive people. What a jeez.
I mean, one of the massive people is in fact going because I spot them a ticket.
Who's that?
Connor.
Oh shoot, that guy's tall too. Jesus Christ.
I remember in Japan.
I'm a shrub.
In Japan on the Sunday, we spotted Ryan, and I didn't actually spot him. Karen spotted him and called out to him, and I was like, "Oh, where is he?" I'm like, "Oh, there he is, the fucking giant 6 foot tall man!" Like, and we took a photo with each other, and like, I am so tiny compared to Ryan. He's like up here, and I was like down here, and I was just like, "Christ, I'm short."
No, but it also like obviously. It's like interesting, like talking to these people online for years, because obviously Celebration 22 might speak more about that. Some of it a little bit in London as well, and like you're like talking online, and then you go to Celebration, you actually see them in person. You're just like, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
apparently a lot of people originally thought I was like short or something.
I didn't think you were short, but I didn't think. I don't know how many times I told this story, but I didn't think you were going to be Gandalf. Like, compared to me. Gandalf?
So the first time we hung out, we also went and hung out with Camilla as well, and yeah, and she's like 6'3" or something like that, and like, and like, you know, Pep's like down here. You know, actually, I haven't. We haven't talked to Xanthi in a hot minute. I wonder if Xanthi will be there.
Yeah, we'll reach out. If anyone looks like a bodyguard around me, it's Choco. And if anyone doesn't need a bodyguard around me, it's Choco. Oh man. But we look forward to Star Wars Celebration. Hopefully Reed Pop and Lucasfilm does something to kind of right the wrongs that happened during this week, and other people get a chance to grab those tickets. But I think it's time we move on to Cub Cost Shadow Lord, the finale.
Ooh.
Chime in when you're ready, folks. This was a finale.
With that, I'm gonna end my phone call with my thoughts on this. Overall, the whole series, 8 out of 10. What the?
Left a bit early.
Did you really do?
No, I didn't.
Did I drop?
We can still hear you.
Yeah,
Okay, I was like, what?
Bye. No, that
hilarious
wasn't me.
bit.
No, the series overall, 8 out of 10. Last 2 episodes, 8 out of 10. I still don't like what they did to Devon. It was chud feeding to the highest level. It makes sense character-wise. It makes sense story-wise. Everything makes sense. I just wish they wouldn't have Darth Taloned her.
I mean,
She still has clothes on.
True, but it's still feeding into it.
I don't know if her falling to the dark side is feeding specifically into. I mean, you'd have to elaborate further, but I mean, I similarly just wanted her to stay on the light, but I knew she was gonna fall. So what do you mean by like it's feeding the chud fuel?
As we all know, ever since the series got announced and we saw bits and pieces of her here and there, chuds left and right have been saying that, oh my god, we're getting Darth Talon and all this. Even when we got her name, the chuds were still calling her Darth Talon. This entire series was just watching her fall to the dark side. She was every choice that Ezra made, just on the opposite spectrum.
I mean, I take offense because our thumbnail is the rise of Talon. We've been talking about this ever since the trailer dropped. He's like, "Is this the Talon?" Like, to be fair, we've been talking about it as a Talon stand-in, like a transplant for that Talon character. But I don't know. I mean, every time I think of the Chuds, I just think that they're just espousing for something that just they don't know anything about. That's all.
That's the thing. I don't know that that's
Talon is.
You know, the fact that it's like, oh, George's sequels, like, that's something they can latch onto for their purposes. But, like, I also, as soon as I realized that was kind of what they were doing, or I hope it's what they're doing, I think that's cool. Like, reusing George's stuff in a new context is really interesting. And frankly, it makes more sense than if they were the actual sequel trilogy, because, like, Darth Maul shouldn't live that long. So I think that, yeah, you know, they'll always find something to spin into, you know, the fact that the conversation is back, like, oh, they're retconning the sequels. Like, it's not going to happen, but...
oh my god, the way that's Riverside is go down that tangent.
You can't let our storytelling be shackled by not giving them any ammunition, because they'll find
Oh, no, like I said, overall, I absolutely love the series. I think the series is an 8 out of 10 series, no questions at all. 0. Animation, fantastic. Easter eggs for days, fantastic. Character designs, fantastic. Casting, fantastic. Like, there is not a single point wasted on this show. But to me, I see nothing, at least on my end of TikTok, is nothing but chud conversation.
Well,
Nothing
get out
but
of there, man.
I can't. I've been trying, but none of y'all go back up on my FYP.
Click not interested, click block.
What do
And
you
then
mean?
I get nothing but ads.
I don't
To be
know.
fair,
I
the
mean,
ads
like,
are out of control on TikTok.
Not
I
not
feel like-
interested. That creator, then move on.
but I feel like not to invalidate your experience, but I feel like the chuds are just gonna chud. They're gonna do whatever they do, regardless of whether she is Talon or a stand-in for Talon or a story transplant for the character that George envisioned. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. They've been talking about decanonizing the sequels for nigh on 10 years. They've been talking about Star Wars being dead, and regardless of the Scalper situation, the fact that all of the tickets are sold out means Star Wars isn't dead. And so
Someone
I don't
commented
know.
that on a video of mine. They were like, Star Wars Celebration isn't going to sell out because no one cares anymore. And I was like, I'll see you in a couple of days, man. Like,
Extra says,
I would like to kind of also push back because I feel like Lucasfilm is doing an amazing job at shutting up the chuds, like hush puppies, right? Like the invention of hush puppies was you're just throwing bits of dough so that these damn dogs will shut up, right? And I feel like that's exactly what they've done. You know, like, should Dave Filoni run Lucasfilm? No. We want him doing creative things and telling stories, right? So who's running Lucasfilm? It's Lin Brandon, right? She's in control of Industrial Light and Magic. She's in control of Skywalker Sound. She's in control of... But we don't want Dave in charge of those things, right? But they're co-presidents. So like the Chuds will latch onto this, and that's all they'll ever talk about. But they actually hired someone who knows what the job is to take care of it. You know, who the person who's the most qualified, who just happens to be a woman, which they would lose their minds if they had to think that. Same with the show Maul. You think Sam Witwer was running the show?
yeah.
Because
Well,
they
some
actually
people he
had
was.
Athena Portillo, who has been doing that for Star Wars animated shows since the Clone Wars. Right? And
Yeah.
so
And
the
the
showrunner.
writers are the Bad Batch team as well. Jennifer
yeah,
Orba and Brad Rowe.
but you know but the Chuds they'll only mention Sam in charge of the show, and that's what makes it good. Despite they actually having someone who's been in the trenches running these types of shows forever, and I think that's what, you know, even this particular story where, you know, they're like, oh, it's like Darth Talon none of them have ever read anything with Darth Talon. None of them know
They've seen
who Darth Talon is, the
fan art.
character.
Like,
They've seen fan art. Darth Talon is fan art. That's like 80% of her character.
Laura
They know her
Anderson, is that
exactly.
guy actually outside?
This character that we got has a unique and interesting and inviting personality, wears clothes, and actually has a story arc where we go on a journey with this person and we care about them and their perspective. You know, we see, you know, the scenes of like, okay, she can actually ditch Maul and save Riley and get off the bridge right now, but instead she's angry, so she goes and starts slicing down Stormtrooper. Like, and we get to see an actual story being told. You know, and I feel like I feel like they're like, we're just gonna toss them a couple things, here and there, but nothing that we've gotten lately has been devoid of actual like substance. You know, like it's all meaty, it's all there. You know, and even in this final episode, yeah, we got to see, you know, Anakin come in and be a menace. And I'm sure that's all those channels saw. I did like seeing him and his personality there. that doesn't make or break the show. I didn't need it in the show, but
I was gonna make the argument that I honestly feel like, because I said it for the entire duration of the show up until 7 and 8, but even if you kind of take those 2 episodes out of the context, this is Devon and Brender's show. Sure, Maul is influencing the events of the show, and every single scene is always a conflict of where is Maul at the moment. This is not Maul's show. Like, really, you think about it, like Devon and Brender are the 2 protagonists of the show. Maul is just driving the plot.
I'm gonna push back. It is Maul's show. Devon survives.
I would say
Devon survives the narrative. Like like she exists to provide the narrative storytelling power of what goes forward.
It's the same way of like how some Star Wars books recently are titled like Vader and that kind of stuff. And yes, it is still a Vader book, but it's not really the focal point. The focal point of the show is from Devon's POV, because most of the time we're not really getting clued onto what Maul's thinking.
Point of view.
I would still say
I want to point to something that Jackie said. It's like, I hear your words, or I hear.
It's your voice, but it's Maul's words.
It's your voice, but it's Maul's words, right? So we're getting to see how Devon reacts to the proposals that Maul's making, but it's all Maul that's like getting in her head, and whatever she's saying, it's all been rationalized by Maul and espoused to her.
Especially like episode 6, was it? I can't keep them all straight now, but like we got to see Maul grapple with his childhood and with what the torture had come to
8.
And he's like swearing to his childhood self to take care of him. Like that was beautiful and added so much depth to the character. I actually think that the main point of the main success of this show, because I really enjoyed. I mean, I got a lot to say about it, but I think the best part about it is that it's not Jedi and Sith. Like, these are Jedi, but there's no more order, right? So they are something else. They have to be something else to survive. What does that mean? What does survival look like? And then you have Maul, who is just not a Sith. And so when we have, the aspect of Devon falling to the dark side, this is not her becoming a Sith and forsaking everything that she believed in. She's actually doing everything that she's believed in her entire life as a Jedi. She believes this is going to be the best way to, or at least before, it was about protecting and saving people. Now she's going on a vengeance kick, but
that goes back to what I was saying. This is a dark side Ezra, just in better context.
I mean, Ezra comes from a totally different background, though.
Exactly. He was never trained by any Jedi. He's had literal, like, out of context pockets with only one former Padawan turned knight, and then gets seduced into the dark side, but he realizes where his focus is, which is in the fight against the Empire to defend Lothal.
And I think that's why we get this story, right? I mean, where we started, we had. I mean, we also have to consider the order that these things have come out in, right? So so Ezra was the first for us. Maul is trying to turn Ezra. Ezra thinks about it. He learns how to access the dark side. He gets a little emo, but he snaps out of it, dancing to jazz music as he walks down the street. Next, we got this, Maul and Ahsoka, where he asks her. She doesn't join him, but then it gets us to wonder, well, what if someone legitimately did? And then now that's what we're going to see. I just think we don't really need a whole lot more Maul stories in general, but that's a whole separate conversation.
Well, I mean, I think it's safe to say at this point, especially as we look forward to Twin Sons and where he ends up, there's not much more to tell. right? And I think that was the point of introducing an apprentice or an acolyte, is that what Devon represents is a potential story thread. If there's a fallout between the two, Devon goes off by herself, Maul goes on to become Old Master.
Or Kira takes her out because she wants to be number one next to Maul.
I mean, I don't think they're going to come to blows. Honestly, I think they both share a common cause.
I think
they're
Devon's
against
probably
the
going to
Sith.
be. I think Devon's probably going to be out of the picture by the time Kira comes into play. Not dead. I'm just saying she's just going to be out of the picture.
If they do encounter each other, which is further down the line because Kira is pretty young right now. They're both, even though Devon has fallen to the dark side, her purpose is anti-Sith, and so is Kira's. But I think the point of introducing Devon, and I want to bring Cubcos and Alex into this as well, like I think, is so that she could be an antagonist for Rey. She just goes off and you know, goes
Now
into
she is
the
going to have
shadows.
a lot of time until then, but like that's the story thread that I hoped they go with, because she'd be what, like, she's probably around 15 now. I don't know if they said a specific
I would
age.
say
Got
she's
about-
Teenager.
I would say like 17, 18, 19.
Got about
She
20
would be.
years.
She looks like she'd be around Ahsoka's age when we see Ahsoka in season 7.
No, I said around Barriss and the Clone Wars.
It's
I think-
the same.
I mean, I think generally a teenager.
Barriss in the Clone Wars is like 20 to 22.
Yeah.
So that I'll put her about 39 by Return of the Jedi. I didn't do this on purpose, but it would be 69 by the time we get to sequel era.
Nice.
So definitely, if nothing else, not going to be wearing the bikini by then. If this 70-year-old woman shows up to fight Rey, she's going to look a little different.
I mean, Twi'leks.
Force sensitive Twi'leks are.
I mean, you've seen Ula, right?
Ooh.
That's true. She defied age. That was incredible.
Oh my God. I'm starting to lose daylight over here, guys. I really do have to leave. But yeah, that is just my thoughts overall. Love this series. I can't wait for season 2. Just like everybody else, you don't leave it on a cliffhanger like that. I'm sorry. We need to know what's happening next. What's going to happen next?
I love the cliffhanger they left off, just because I feel it means that we don't have to watch a bunch of training
Choco on audio again.
montages.
God damn it.
That's a you problem.
It's
Yeah, it keeps happening. He keeps dropping out of the side.
It might
view
be a
thing.
connection between you two because this is a peer-to-peer
Yeah.
platform.
But I'll drop. I'll see you guys later.
Take
Have
it
a
easy,
good
Kenny.
Also, I didn't mean to actually you, Alex, on the age thing.
Oh, yeah, no.
I think they
worries.
confirmed when they announced New Jedi Order that it's like 15 years after Rise. So you got to add like another 15 years to that number.
Yeah, okay.
Again, force-sensitive Twi'leks and force-sensitive Togrutas are long-lived.
It's true.
And
True.
she doesn't necessarily need to be a one-to-one villain, right? She could be like an Emperor Palpatine figure, like if she's, like a Kreia figure, like wizened and old and having experience, having been trained by Maul, but also being anti-Sith, and then, she encounters Rey during her New Jedi Order kind of initiative, and it's like, I'm going to bring down the Sith, and you're never coming back. It's like, I am no Sith. Something like that.
I mean, that's the debate I want to happen in New Jedi Order is what is the role of the Jedi in this post-Sith galaxy? And if there's another organization who's like, yeah, we hate the Sith too, we use the dark side, and then they might clash over methods, over the severity or whatever of what they do. I think that would be an interesting conversation.
Now, we should also acknowledge, like, we're taking her from the perspective of, like, they're clearly doing something akin to a Darth Talon. Although, I keep mentioning, like, it's worth pointing out, there's no world where she's going to be Darth Talon. She's going to be the character that George was going to forcefully shove Darth Talon into.
That's
Like,
also
she's going to
very
be
true.
sucked out of time, changed to Maul's apprentice. She's going to be that. But that character was meant to fight like an older Luke, Han, and Leia. So it's possible instead of being Rey's opponent or instead of being the new Jedi Order, she could be set up for a prequel to the sequels. Like maybe, 10 years before The Force Awakens, this new threat comes to threaten the New Republic.
Which, by the way, if you read George Lucas's, what he wrote as far as this is his sequel, quote unquote, that's what it is. Is it's a prequel to the sequels we have. That's literally what it is. It's, some of the Imperials wanted to keep fighting and they went off to do their own thing. That's who comes back as the First Order. It's like it's literally just slots in just later in the time stream.
But building on Choco's point, I think even if she isn't a physical opponent to Rey, she could exist to be an ideological opponent, right? Like they're not Sith, they're anti-Sith, but they're using the dark side. So what does that mean? How does that shape how Rey rebuilds the Order, or how Rey encounters them, and kind of responds to their existence? Because using historical data from Star Wars canon, the Jedi didn't care about the Night Sisters. They had no designs for conquest, so they didn't hunt down the Night Sisters. So it wasn't necessarily a thing where every Darksider is our enemy. But the Sith were the ones that are like, yeah, we're actively gonna take shit over and kill people.
And I know we're talking hypotheticals right now, but I also can see this picture playing out, because I know some people, if she does somehow survive this and gets to the new Jedi Order, people were like, well, how the hell did she survive? Not the Empire hunter down. I think after Maul dies, I don't think the Empire really cares about what Devon is doing. Palpatine's we already eradicated them. We already basically took out Crimson Dawn by this point in time, because it'll be post War of the Bounty Hunters and all that.
Everybody, they never get Yoda.
Cypher in the chat says, how impactful do you think the rest of Cal's story, at least in the third game, is to the overarching plot of either Mando era or sequel era?
I hate to say it, I just don't think it's going to touch on it at all. I think
Cal is dead.
Go over there and do their thing.
You think Cal is
it's
dead?
Possible. He could still be significant and dead, but...
That is true. Tanner War could be a thing.
Exactly, yeah. I figure if you check the books, they'll probably eventually tie them in, maybe Rey picks up some stuff from the archives on Tanalorr, but I doubt, I don't think Cal Kestis is going to get name dropped in NJO. I don't think he's ever going to be that important.
Yeah. Or maybe something like the physical location of Tanalorr is somewhere where they meet up with the Ascendancy and they help out, out there, and it's a whole separate thing, Maybe this is an outbound flight that worked.
Or maybe Kata somehow survives all of this and joins in the Jedi Order, and that's your little crumb. Connecting back to the Jedi games, that's all you get.
Yeah.
I mean, that just reminds me of the slop that we watched.
That was painful. Yeah, that hurt.
Oh wow, there's some AI garbage that you guys watched.
Yeah, where they were trying to tell a story about Kata, but wanted Cal to be the main character, and it's just Cal making out, and you're like, what was happening? There literally wasn't a plot. It was terrible.
Clarification: making out with Marin.
Yeah. I'm curious, though, how you guys feel. So, because we've talked a little bit about Maul and his journey, and about Devon and her journey, but we also got this noir cop story with his estranged son, and his bootlicking wife, and his two-booted friend. How'd you guys feel about the whole context, right? This is the playground with which we had this entire series go, and there's stories went places. How you guys feel about them?
I mean, I like some of the ideas at play in Lawson's story. I'll say it was one of the things that never fully grabbed me. There's some ambiguity right now online about is he dead or not, and we can talk about like what we think is going to happen. I think either way, however you envision ending, like just on him making this heroic sacrifice, I kind of could have guessed something akin to this being the way that the story with the son went from the first, and it just, I don't know, it never really hit any particularly high notes for me. Certainly not in the same way that like Devon's story did.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hilarious because like I've been, at least on Pod One's making jokes about his name being, he's basically the captain of the law and he has a son, and then he turns into the fugitive of the law and still has a son. So, I mean, like you can't still not laugh at that, but like, no, I still like when I watched the episode, I was like, oh yeah, he's dead, but I mean, it's Star Wars, no body, no death.
Yeah. And
I assume that when they were writing it, they like nicknamed him like Lawman, and then they got to the end and they're like, Law Son?
Yeah.
we
He
can't
was
just
a
call him
lawman with a son, so they just named him Son.
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
also
like,
ask, there's apparently some ambiguity about, do y'all think, some people have said it's just an awkward way that it was cut, that I was fully under the impression that Lawson saw Maul betray Daki.
that's what I was about to mention. 'Cause some people were discussing that, and I was like, that is actually an interesting conversation. Because I was like, well, if Brender comes back, like, what could he really introduce to the plot? If he saw Maul betray Daki, that is something that he could throw into Devon and Maul's plans of like, Maul isn't the person you think he is. He's actively helped in killing your master.
Yeah,
Exactly.
which it could definitely
That's
lead
what I
to
thought
like the
as well.
falling out as well. It's
I
like
think
it's like Soul and freaking Ocean.
Yeah.
No, I made those joke on Pod Ones earlier because during our May the 4th section, I started describing the plot of the Acolyte and Maul, but I took all the characters out. I'm like, what show am I talking about, guys?
Yeah, like maybe a decade down the line, she's ready to like, you know, level up in terms of it being an apprentice, and then Lawson finds them. He's like, he killed your master, and she just like.
Oh, that's not true. That's impossible.
And also, like, I am excited for Riley's journey as well because, like, with the way that it ended, they're clearly setting up Riley to be a mirror of Devon, with Devon kind of fully going into vengeance to, like, avenge the people that murdered her, basically family at this point, while Riley, I'm assuming, is going to go the complete opposite path and try to honor what Brender was to him.
Yeah.
That'd be very cool.
Cypher says, I feel it's obvious they've been priming Cal as a live action character, so I'd be very surprised if they don't bring him back. I mean, if they do, it's not going to be anything that is related to this narrative. I think, especially with like a Jedi 3 announcement coming, you know, they could potentially do a tie-in show with the game if they really want to like capitalize. If they want to capitalism this, they'll make a show.
I've always felt like with Cal, they're waiting for the trilogy of games to be done because they confirmed that Jedi 3 will be the last of the series. So I'm assuming Lucasfilm's like, we're going to wait for them to tell their story, and then if we want to bring him into live action, we can fit him in between the games.
Yeah. Could Lawson
I mean,
be an ode
we've
to
only
Denis Lawson?
we've only just now opened up, you know, the Tross, you know, the sequel kind of timeline in order to create more content. So they still have plenty of time to do anything at this point. So I wouldn't rule it out, you know, at all. And I know he wants to, definitely. I just like the plot point with Tanalorr was so specific. It feels like that plot point was kind of artificially injected from Lucasfilm to tell them like, hey, you can keep telling stories, but you can't mess with what we're doing here, so you need to get them somewhere, you know. And so now that this is open, they'd have to find a way to bring him back, and maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know.
It felt like an artificial way to like, and again, I love Jedi Survivor's story, and like it felt like, well, we want to connect to what's going on in the High Republic, and we want to connect to Obi-Wan Kenobi. How do we make this work? And that was how they kind of just tied all those three together.
There's also the thing about video game characters where there's with heavy customization that is inherently difficult to bring You know what I mean? Like, is he gonna have like the, creepy
happy
like
landing.
pedo mustache and the mullet like when I had him, running around shouting America and shooting people with his gun? Like, I don't think that's what they're thinking. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
There's still a canon look for Cal. It's just the box art.
Yeah, default.
Yeah, just default.
I think they could just run that.
I just realized that alert says the Forced is strong with them. I have to fix that. The Forced is strong. Thanks for the follow.
Yeah, I am excited to go back to Maul for a split second though, because like I said this on Pod Ones, like I want Devon to have so many mirrors in season 2, like whether I threw out a couple options. I said like because we know the Inquisitors are not going to stop hunting them, because obviously we have to get Maul his Inquisitor saber from Rebels and Solo, so we know the Inquisitors are not going to stop hunting them. I would like it if it was Trilla or Reva. Obviously, probably Trilla because of the timeline and stuff. Or if you want to do like a mirror of like dark side adjacent but find their way back to the light, you could have Ventress, because Jennifer Corbin's obviously directly involved with Maul, and she was the one that brought back Ventress in Bad Batch season 3. So it's like I want like a dark side mirror for Devon to kind of encounter.
Give me a Iscat.
How's it going, April?
Toss her in there. I'd be into that.
I'd like that.
That's true.
Or that like hella black Twi'lek.
Damn.
Oh yeah, her boyfriend.
Yeah.
I'd also say, as we mentioned, no body, no dead. It's entirely possible Marok is still kicking, and we know he's gonna die by the events of Ahsoka. So maybe Maul's gonna take him out.
That would be cool if he was the one that got hit. If the saber we see in Solo and Rebels is Morok's.
I'd say he was one of the standouts of this show. Him and the 11th brother, like they did so much to redeem two very mediocre characters. I mentioned they kind of got the Maul treatment, where it's like they were in one movie.
Yeah, they're the new Maul.
I did say that in our reaction that like this show has totally made Inquisitors look 10 times more lethal than in Rebels. Rebels Inquisitors were like Team Rocket. I was just like, bro, you guys aren't gonna do anything, but like they were giving it to them, right?
Yeah,
I like that the Palpatine like corkscrew stream thing is like a move akin to like your up B in Super Smash Brothers. You know what I mean? Like he's like Maul's falling, and so he hits the move so he can recover.
Well, I was just saying, like going back to like Morok and Crow, like the moment of like when they're in the tunnels and they're trying to get across, and like the sound effect of them running in. Oh my god! Like David Collins was cooking with that. Like it was terrifying.
They were almost Naruto style running in. It was fantastic.
Oh, Maul full on hit the Naruto run when he jumped over the gap.
Oh, and also the shot of like Morok, Crow, Daki, Devon, and Maul like all like the all the clashing at the same time. I'm like, yes! oh my god.
Bro, that was Sotor Hope cutscene right there with Kausen and Satele against Vintican
a certified
and Malgus.
I am a certified don't care about lightsaber combat person, and that scene was awesome. Like, amazing.
Oh, can we talk about the fact that he keeps hitting the Starkiller poses in this one?
Yes.
Maul absolutely. He had his reverse double lightsabers. They were 100% leading into like, we've got Sam back. We're doing as much Starkiller stuff as possible. Apparently, the sound effects.
With the Walker too. Yeah.
There was like 2 or 3. There's the Walker, there's the Starkiller lightsaber pose, and then when Spybot dies, because he's voiced by David Collins, he says Master, which is how he dies in Force Unleashed 2 when Vader just chops him in half.
And I fully believe now that means that we're not going to get a version of the character. Like, this is it. This is what you get. This is it.
What I appreciate the most. Now let's talk about Vader, because like. We had some monsters in the chat talking about whether they needed Vader or not. I personally was of the ilk that we didn't need Vader, but appreciated his appearance in this show, primarily because, and I always have to talk reductively about Anakin. Primarily because they are doubling down on reinforcing that Vader, although he looks invincible against Devon, Daki, and Maul, Daki scores a hit on him, right? And I feel like this is like them being like, but Anakin didn't have to fight anyone important during Nightfall, right? It was just younglings and like people in the creche and archivists and stuff. He fights Kirak and Fila, gets whopped. He has to threaten innocent lives to get the jump on him, and then Daki, even though like Daki gets force pushed and betrayed by Maul, he still scores a hit on Vader, and I'm like, yeah, Vader exists in a time where there's literally no threats, like tangible threat to his power, but like seeing a Jedi Master who we barely like know, like kind of score a hit is like, yeah, like if the Jedi Council didn't fall during Order 66, Vader wouldn't be quite the most like intimidating force in the galaxy.
I interpret the fight, this is just my take on it, because obviously we can kind of figure out that Maul is like a year after Revenge of the Sith, so it's just like during Vader 2017, like during the middle to end of that run. I kind of interpret the fight as this is kind of Vader's first real fight after bleeding the crystal, and I think Vader throughout the fight, I think it's just toying with him, because like, again, this is just kind of like me going off of the Anakin Obi-Wan comics during that era of like between Phantom and Attack of the Clones. I think Vader was kind of hyping up the fight in his mind, going, oh my god, I get to fight Maul, the person that like Obi-Wan was describing me for years, and I get to finally do it. And then he shows up and he's like, oh, this is Maul? He's pathetic. And I think it's kind of like, I see like the fight being mirrored to Empire Strikes Back when Daki finally gets the hit in, like Vader is toying with Luke. He's like, all right, I'm turning it off. I'm going for reals now. Like, I'm done playing around. That's how I kind of view the choreography of that fight.
Vader's like, oh wait, this is the guy that almost ran me down as a kid.
I could have liked more if that were something that were like really conveyed. Like, I think one missed opportunity is the amount of tension that there should have been between Vader and Maul specifically. Like, it kind of felt like Vader didn't respond much to any of them, that these were just three people he needed to kill. But Vader obviously has that strong connection to Maul. This is the person who killed Qui-Gon. Maul told Ahsoka that Anakin was going to be Sidious's next apprentice, so he should have an inkling of who this is under the mask.
I interpret his conversation with Daki as I know who he is, because when there's that brief period, like once they kind of trap him the first time,
That's how I took it too.
and Daki and like Maul are talking about like, and he's trying to persuade Devon like, you need to use your rage, and Daki's like, why? Because obviously she's trying to like persuade Devon from using the dark side. Maul's like, he was a former Jedi, he basically knows everything you guys are going to do. Obviously that's not the exact line, but it's something around that, like verbatim, like you need to tap into your rage, which is, I take it as, I know he's Anakin Skywalker, but there's no relevance for me telling you right now who he is.
Well, I think Vader definitely, or not Vader, I think Maul definitely arrived at that conclusion, right? Because towards the beginning of the episode, he was like, "Who are you?" Right, and then later he was like, "It can't be." So he was definitely putting two and two together to arrive at the conclusion that was Anakin.
I suppose so. I think it could have. I think there would be more strength to it if it were directly referenced, as opposed to like we can infer and guess what Maul knew. But I think it's a bit of a missed opportunity not to capitalize on like actually delivering.
Here's the thing: no one knows who Vader is, even the people that knew Anakin, right? Maul knows that.
That's what I'm saying. Maul probably should.
Well,
he knew this.
Maul knows that Anakin is Sidious's apprentice, but he doesn't know that he was defeated on Mustafar and got severely burned and turned into a robot. That's why when he's fighting him, he's like, "You're not normal. Like, what are you?"
Yeah, but then he does say, like, I think this is a Sith Lord. I think Daki is the one who says it.
Yeah, Daki says this is a Sith Lord, and then Maul basically defers, like, this is the former Jedi.
That's what I'm saying. He puts two and two together and he figures it out eventually.
Well, but again, like we can infer that, we can guess if he knows that this is Anakin. I think that the less guesswork the audience is left to do is generally, because I think that then takes away from the emotional weight of it. This is a very dramatic reunion for these two that doesn't actually live up to that potential, because we're just kind of assuming, like, do either of them care about it?
I mean, I didn't
seen him since he
want
was
it
9.
to. And mostly because
Moment when he was 9, though.
because this is just not. I mean, it's kind of like why I don't want to put Vader in a lot of things, just in general, because I don't need Anakin's narrative here. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that is throwing an extra thing into this show that only detracts from all of the great stuff that the show has done. But I did appreciate that they recognize exactly what Vader is. You know what I mean? Like, he fought like Vader, you know? Like he fought like you are going to see A New Hope later. He wasn't doing the swooshy, swashbuckly stuff that you would normally see in the Clone Wars. He doesn't have the range of movement anymore, you know, but he's strong as hell because he has big giant robot arms, and so he just chops through people's guards. And I know I like seeing all of that.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna quote Luke here. Like, I love how he's pretty much just Michael Myers in this, like, 2 episodes.
Yeah.
X-Core says, "Is this the coolest Vader has ever looked?" Yes. Did I want to see his ass in the show? Fuck no.
I agree with that statement, X-Core.
It feels, I'm a little worried, like, we keep going back to the well of, like, how are we going to end this season? I don't know, just put one of the Skywalkers there.
Vader shows up.
Maybe Luke
then,
sometimes,
right.
you know, Mando can have Luke.
Because, like, I said it before, like, I pretty much clocked it in, like, episode 7 or 8. I'm like, Vader is going to show up in the finale. Like, I pretty much kind of put 2 and 2 together almost immediately. I was hoping it was a slow progression. Like, Maul was slowly climbing the ladder. Like, he dealt with a couple of Inquisitors, and the Grand Inquisitor shows up. Then it's Vader. Like, I was kind of hoping, like, it was a slow, like, escalation of antagonists. But I was like, if we're just going straight to Vader, I guess.
To be fair, narratively, it makes sense. He is the Lord of the Inquisitorius. And if the Inquisitors are hunting and they aren't having the level of success that they normally have with Jedi hunting, he would be the one to show up. Like, if this was like if this was a show in the sequel era and Vader shows up, you're like, come on now. You know what I mean?
It's not that it's narrative. It's not that it's, like, logically impossible that Vader could appear here. Is this in service of this particular story?
But it's
like
also,
Ahsoka
like,
could have showed up.
Like, I remember when the first trailer came out, I was like, Vader's going to show up at some point in the show, because we have to get to how he is in Rebels, or where he's basically afraid of Vader.
True. We know that eventually Maul needs to fight Vader.
And so, who knows? Maybe that's going to lend itself to this show extremely well in the second season. Maybe the second season we get a counteracting narrative about life in the Inquisitorius for people on that side, and then, you know, when they meet up again, so that, you know, Devon can actually get revenge. That's when everything, you know, falls off a truck, and that's when Maul ends up being in exile. You know, like, everything goes to crap there. So we don't know yet. I just I just push back against the idea that shows need to end by someone who's not a part of the show's narrative showing up and doing.
Cupcast, you've been disconnecting for a while. Let's get your. We can't hear you.
Oh no!
Oh no, is he fully muted?
This is not me actively trying to silence Maul.
This is just his Maul cosplay. It's
Element. It hates Australians. Confirmed live on YouTube. I'm kidding.
Testing.
There you go.
There we are.
Oh, we're back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey. I don't know why the microphone's just been looping my own audio back to me, and then people were dropping in and out, and I was like, what is happening? Like, I have no idea what's going on. I was just unplugging, restarting, trying to fix stuff. Sorry about that.
Go for it, though. I mean, like, we've been going off.
Yeah, sorry. I'll just give out a few thoughts. Sorry, I've been hearing bits and pieces here. I agree with whoever said that I didn't need Vader in this show, but the way he was used, I think, was appropriate. I think it makes it makes sense for the story for him to be there. I didn't need him there, but the fact that he is there, it makes sense. So I'm not mad at it or anything like that. I love that he did not speak a word. Personally, I've seen some people not happy about that. I actually loved that he didn't say anything.
I argue he does.
Really
when he
enjoyed
breathes.
that. It gives him a presence, I'll admit. I do think there was a little bit of a disconnect for me personally with what Choco was saying, how Vader moves and swings and he fights like a New Hope. There is a little bit of a disconnect where before Vader enters the scene and we have Devon, Darky, and Maul versus the two Inquisitors, everyone is moving so fast and doing these spins and flips and kicks, lightning fast speed, and then Vader comes in and Vader is so much slower, and it's like suddenly all of that spinning and stuff is suddenly ineffective against him. There's a little bit of a disconnect for that for me. It's like, this should be working. These people should be running circles around this guy. But I understand, it's Vader. I get it. Like Choco said, he is so strong that like one hit and they're pushed 10 feet back. Like,
well, it's not just
and so that's
not just strength.
that's-
Anakin has double vision.
true, very true.
Yeah, but I mean, I do feel like the strength was the main part of it. Like when you're watching it and he hits them, even when they block, it staggers them. You know what I mean? So like to me, it was like, well, you can't spin because like he hits you, and then that's your momentum. And then so that's why it's
They never
kinda
really
worked for
get
me.
the chance to actually take him on 3 at a time, 3v1, because he hits one and they're sent back. And it also makes sense because when you're attacking 3 people on one, you don't want to hit each other. So you do kind of need to go 1 or 2 at a time.
And also, I love how they refer to Vader in these episodes as it. Like, they don't refer to him as a person. It's just like, this is just a creature we gotta survive.
Always very cool.
He's just a nature of evil.
They also went hard in the animation department of like having him, Vader is just dealing with individual rocks and stuff falling. I thought that was cool because the movements and stuff were always so vague back in the early days that I like that there's some precision and intentionality with each individual person and how they fight and what they deal with.
And I also love how I don't know if you guys know this because this got confirmed via because they had the private screening at Disney Studios. Vanessa Marshall actually got to pick her own death because he said, "We're gonna kill you off at the end of the season. Like, how do you want to die in the show?" And she said, "I want to die at the hands of Vader." And she described exactly what happened in that scene.
It's good.
Nice.
Well, it happens
One
like
thing that does bother.
But do you all know what she said she wanted to happen to her?
Yeah.
Like, it's the canon thing. For anyone in the audience who doesn't know, I believe it was that Vader pulls her lungs out through her mouth, which, goddamn, Vanessa.
Fatality.
Yeah.
I
one
will
thing-
say, go ahead, Choco. Go ahead.
No, you go.
Oh, I will say one of my disappointments with this show was actually Rook Cast. I think she was very underdeveloped and underutilized. Same with the 2 Zabrak brothers, Icarus and Scorn. I'm sorry, they were background muscle for 8 to 10 episodes. I don't care.
Icarus is my dude.
Cool as hell background muscle.
They were
That guy-
cool, but like, look,
Icarus-
Icarus has a cool death. I'll
Icarus
give it that.
tanked 8
Like,
blaster bolts.
Yeah,
But-
tackle him in the acid.
yeah, cool death, but I don't care. I don't know this guy. Like,
The
Well,
Icarus taking 8 blaster bolts, I was sitting there, who is this? Like, has it always been
That's
that?
gonna
Is
be a
there a
question
reason
on the
this
next Jedi.
durable? Like, he got some enhancements or something?
They sprinkled some night juice, some night sister juice on him. With
No,
some of that green drink.
No, Alex, it's that Rogue One adrenaline. They know they're gonna die, so they just got.
Nah, they're on that gamer subs, man.
One thing is super random, but like, I was like, do stun blasters recharge that quickly? I feel like he's letting them loose. I feel like I feel like you should be able to. If you could rapid fire them, then no army could ever stand, and you should never shoot regular because it's
Well,
the whole
technically-
area, and then you swap
like a
after they
huge
drop,
ass
and then you hit them.
I mean, Riley's still a fugitive of the law, but he technically didn't kill anybody because he hit them all with stun blasters.
True.
I mean, are they all alive currently?
Yeah.
I
guess
don't
they
know.
want to say that
If
this-
you hit someone with a sun blast, and then like they fall unconscious, and then there's an explosion that engulfs their body.
But the
I feel like you
explosion
might-
killed them. But the explosion killed them, not Riley. See, I'm Riley's lawyer. Call me. I'm kidding.
All right, let's catch
Okay.
up with the monsters in the chat. Gage says, "I think that this was the Vader tease. Season 2 is going to go deeper with it, and there will be a rematch with Devon and Maul together, and that's what makes him truly scared of him." I could see that happening as well.
And that's what I was thinking, leaning towards.
Possible.
CS Senator says, this show was awesome. I think they used Vader perfect. They needed him for that ending. They needed someone that powerful. Which brings a question really quickly to just the overall panel. If not Vader, who could pose that much of a threat? And would be satisfying to you and make sense and not you wouldn't have an issue with it.
I still argue Grand Inquisitor because I still feel like he doesn't really have that many moments in canon of like.
I think
Because like it's always Vader that's like, oh, here's Vader, here's the showstopper.
I think Maul wops Grand Inquisitor, honestly.
I think, let me say my bigger... It's not even so much should it have been Vader, should it have been Grand Inquisitor. It shouldn't be someone introduced at the end of Episode 9.
He was
You know,
introduced in 7.
There's a vague allusion to something in 7,
I can
but imagine if
confirm
the
Maul's
Terminator...
presence, my lord, or something like that.
They say someone is my lord, and as the audience, as Star Wars fans, we obviously could infer who they're talking about. Imagine for a second that this show is brand new. No one's ever seen any of this before. These are new characters. It's just not a good way to structure a TV show that, like, oh, everyone now is running scared of this new guy who has very little connection to our main characters. If they had played into Maul knowing him, that would have been one thing, but it's the Inquisitors are chasing them throughout the whole show, then suddenly saying, no, actually, they're taking the back seat, and it's this guy who's the real thing. It's just not as narratively strong as we've been running from them the whole time, and now it's coming to blows.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
I agree with that, and like
50
and
minutes.
I don't think it's. I also agree that it's not about like who would replace Vader in that. Is that's not necessary. Well, what we needed is a catalyst for Devon's story to turn her to the dark side. We needed something to show that Maul, because Maul has been sincere this entire time, but we needed something to show that he's still terrible of a person, you know. They really could have fulfilled that in a number of different ways with a number of different characters or without any characters at all. And also Vader does have this kind of I mean, I guess it is a Michael Myers thing where Michael Myers is just so slow that you just have to outwalk him. And like I feel like there's also a lot of Vader content that ends with everyone escaping as Vader like walks into the room and is like, oh, I can't get over there that quick. Like, them damn youngins.
Vader does the Terrence Howard next time.
Well, also, I feel like the reason why I say Grand Inquisitor is because this got released like in the Star Wars. You know how they'll do like the Star Wars like facts after the episode. They said in episode 7 originally it was going to be the Grand Inquisitor. Obviously, they didn't want to spoil, but they said it got replaced with another character later on through the writing process.
Yeah, I mean, even if that were the case, I still maintain that Maul alone wops the Grand Inquisitor, but Maul with Devon and Daki. Like,
But also, Maul has Kylo Ren curse of he got fucking injured and amputated. So he's a little
true.
bit.
But
Very
Vader also
declawed.
Vader also just like fly swatted his thigh in the beginning of the fight in general. So
No, Vader is just the entire fight going for Maul's robotic legs. He's just like, I'm gonna pull an Obi-Wan, cut him in half, cut him in half.
Cypher asks, what is double vision? Double vision is Anakin's precognition. Was it named in the Stover novelization, or was that
it was explicitly called double vision in Thrawn Alliances.
Yeah, that's where it is.
That's the first place.
But now, I do want to say, I don't believe, I'll have to pull back up Alliances. I don't think it's like a specific to Anakin thing. I'm pretty sure double vision is just his way of describing Jedi precognition. Yeah. When they block a blaster bolt, it's them seeing this is where the blaster bolt is going to be and hitting it. I don't think it's unique to him.
It's not.
That's how I took it as well.
It's not unique to Anakin, but the way I read it in the Thrawn book is like, you know, from Anakin's point of view, he's like double vision, and he does something vision, and he does something.
It is true. Zahn doesn't
he narrates it like it's an anime.
I mean, I think Timothy Zahn just writes Jedi stuff.
Yeah. What am I saying? Devon already has a catalyst within. I really don't think anything external is meant to sway her. Her master died.
That was definitely
like the death of her master is what sparked her desire for revenge specifically. Yes, she was already heading down that path, but that was because, you know, she thought she was meant to protect people and save people, like all the noble reasons why she would stand by Maul and fight. This actually gives her an understandable but not noble reason to stand by him.
Because you know what I would say, actually, we were talking about could the Grand Inquisitor beat Maul and them on their own, but it doesn't necessarily need to be the same 3v1 that it was in this episode. Grand Inquisitor and one of the either 11th brother or Marok, while the other one chases down Devon while she's doing her thing, those two can absolutely pose enough of a threat to Maul and Daki that they could fill the void of Vader while being something a bit more present.
Yeah, I mean, just the pressure of the Empire itself could be enough. Like it's hard to deal with like a bunch of ships above you and an endless supply of stormtroopers. You know, I just think there's just a lot of things. I think we're limiting it to this one thing that we've seen versus it doesn't. There's like a number of different things that could be as big of a threat.
And I don't disagree because like I feel like the show up until that point was very slow burn, and I wanted it to continue at that slow burn pace. And like maybe because we were talking about it like last night, like I love the way Rebels escalates threats because it climbs the ladder perfectly. Where it's like we start with the Grand Inquisitor, then it's Vader, then it's Thrawn, and then it's Palpatine. Obviously, I'm not saying I don't want the similar thing, but it's like I wanted like that kind of slow escalation of threats with the Empire as Maul gets deeper and deeper into the criminal underworld.
Do you think
I mean, there's definitely an element of hindsight happening here, but I do think that having seen what they did with Vader,
it was good.
It's certainly not bad. I did enjoy overall. He's a lot of fun. I would say one thing about Vader's use and the show in general that I would critique: way too over-reliant on the pull the roof down. I think they use it 3 times over the course of these 10 episodes, and it's like you can do that once in a while. At a certain point, Vader's got to start countering it. He's got no roofed areas.
Well, to be fair, they also showed him like piecemeal throwing each debris off of him as he was trying to get out of it. So
they did, but it's
no. I'm just gonna laugh if he shows up in season 2 and like they like, Maul tries to run into a room and Vader just stands there like, not this shit again.
You come out here. We will fight in the open.
Do you think that's why he does it to Obi-Wan?
That's why he does it to Kanan and Ezra and Rebels too, because you notice that he comes out of a hallway and they drop a walker on him. He just like stands up like, I've done this before.
Vader, so sick and tired of this.
Vader's 2 menaces: anyone moving at a brisk jog and ceilings.
Luke from Podwan says the fact we're talking Vader and I'm not there is just a sin. We take live calls. You can get the link from Harith if you want to call in. It's Vader creep. Now he has to show up in every season. I mean, I still think it makes sense. Even if they don't end up fighting again, that encounter alone sends Maul into like into Rebels, saying I can't take him alone. So, I mean, I think for me it would make sense for Maul and Devon as Master and Apprentice to fail against Vader again in a rematch, but I wouldn't be sad if Vader doesn't show up in the next season.
I would prefer
Another
him
thing
not.
that was a little weird to me is like, okay, so Maul ditches Vader, and Devon is angrily fighting, and then he just kind of like hangs back and like watches, and you're like, dude, you just left. Like, you know that guy's coming, right? Like, he's coming here after this. What is your plan here?
Also, Crow doesn't even know that Maul's in the area. He could have just snuck attack him and just.
I also think Vader just likes to just give up sometimes. Like the hallway scene in Rogue One, and then like the profundity escapes, and he's just like standing there. All right, whatever.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the negative that I feel is we always end with him standing there.
That's the Sith. Remember,
introduced-
they don't have personality anymore.
But I will say, if we're talking about a potential season 2 with how would they handle Vader, I would like it if he doesn't show up at all. And the way Vader reappears is like it's just this encounter with Vader. It's just within Maul and Vader, it's just haunting his nightmares. Like he's constantly thinking that like Vader is going to kill Devon, and like that's kind of the narrative through line. Like, yes, this encounter meant something to Maul because it's like how he's getting kind of like closely attached to Devon and not losing her.
Well, that's if he's gonna be in it, put him in it. That's what I want. If he's gonna be in it, put him in it and make the narrative work with him in it. If we want the show to display, the former, potential Sith Lord with the actual Sith Lord, and then we can actually kind of compare their backstories, and we can dive into their psyche and actually tell a narrative surrounding the two characters. That's what I want. If he's going to be in it, put him in it. But like, we can't keep doing this.
Like someone commented, Alf had brought up Rogue One, but even Rogue One, at least, like it does have the scene of Vader interrogating Krennic. Like it establishes him earlier as like, obviously as fans we know who Darth Vader is, but for the sake of this movie, we introduce this is the Enforcer. This is someone who even Krennic answers to. So
but I would argue the Maul also does the same thing with the My Lord scene. I wish they would have showed him straight up at that point instead of making it a reveal.
But that's the thing; he's still not even there. He doesn't say a single word.
Does it change that much if like that scene is extended by 2 seconds? It shows his face and he goes.
No, that would still be bad. He needs to be a character doing something in the story. It would still be nothing if they just showed his face then.
I don't know. I disagree.
Like Solo had the same issue.
He can't be ex machina.
He's not an ex machina. He's a looming threat. He exists in this timeline as part of the Empire.
And I would also make the argument
that should have ended with them being killed by Vader. Why isn't he there? He's alive.
I would also make the argument
of every show just end with Vader showing up and fighting everybody. If it's within the 20 years of the Empire, everyone should get killed by Vader.
Because not everyone is Maul.
But Vader isn't like, he's not teleporting to these places. He could be doing anything else. And if he was going to be doing this, then they should have shown him involved in this earlier.
No, but he is leading the Inquisitorius. And Sidious has a personal stake in killing Maul.
I just think the show needs to be self-contained.
Exactly.
I think if even if certain people are active in this particular year within the context of Star Wars, I just think the narrative of the show needs to stand on its own and not have, and like the same thing of the Solo, ends and with Maul there, right? Now, for me, that is what would be, like that's after credits scene, right? Because it doesn't fit within the narrative of the movie. But at the end of the movie, and then a bunch of people in the audience were like, "Who's that? Is he alive?"
Wait, the guy from Phantom Menace?
I feel like, didn't he get chopped in half and fall down a freaking hole?
And now let's
yes, greater Star Wars fans will know his story and know they watch the Clone Wars and all this stuff. But just none of that's established inside of the context of Solo. That's all.
Exactly. And if it were larger, if Maul had showed up and killed Dryden Voss, that would take away the narrative weight of someone we'd followed, Kira, doing that. Would Maul show up? Yes, he's still Dryden Voss's boss. He could show up for any reason, but it wouldn't be a good movie.
And I would also argue, I guess this is a semi-hot take, because you brought up the Rogue One Vader hallway scene. I actually do prefer the Mustafar scene over the hallway scene.
Yeah.
It's a better use of the character. The hallway scene is cool, and we could talk about a lot of the stuff in this scene is cool. A lot of stuff in this finale is cool in its Vader aura farming, but it just doesn't do a lot for his or Maul's characters outside of, Harith, you're talking about if Maul is terrified of Vader going forward, that would be cool. But they didn't do that with this. Maul does not seem particularly afraid. We even commented that he kind of stands around and watches Devon fight. So, he's not particularly rushed by Vader's appearance. Someone in the comments had mentioned, Palpatine being interested in taking out Maul as his former apprentice. Vader having this sort of grudge against, the imitator. There's a lot of cool stuff to be played with about Vader and Maul fighting, and then they just don't.
What we could do is in a season 2, you can have Vader as a looming threat now that he has seen and has faced him. That can be the narrative thread for, okay, there is this guy, and we're going to have to face him, and this is their mountain. But again, yes, Vader's a looming threat, but the looming threat wasn't established within the context of the show. That's all.
But I also disagree with that assessment of Maul, because Maul spends a lot of time within those small moments of reprieve obsessing over how to defeat this thing that they just encountered. So just his presence and his capability is putting a lot of pressure on Maul. And he's
but that's within the same episode.
And he's sure, but it's still doing the narrative work. It's still telling us that Maul sees this threat, and he's even begging Daki to use your rage and aggression and fury. This is how we're going to defeat him. So
I'm just saying, if it's all in the same episode, it's not relevant to at least my greater. Criticism.
I disagree with Alex.
Drop a Rancor on Gen X. Maul is going to have much how are we going to kill this Rancor? Yes, that's a dangerous being, but it means nothing to him. I could put Bendu on Gen X. Maul will say, "How on earth are we going to defeat that? You got to tap into your rage."
I don't think Maul does that. I think those two things aren't analogous. So, to clarify, I was disagreeing with Alex being it doesn't do anything for Maul for Vader to show up, and he doesn't he doesn't care about Vader. He's just watching Devon. Those were the kind of statements that I was disagreeing with.
When he watches Devon, he stops and hangs out for a bit. That was I commented on that because the idea that Maul is going to be really afraid of Vader. Someone had mentioned the fight with Vader haunting him for years. That's a cool thread, but they're not doing it because Maul wasn't really phased.
Yeah, if Maul, because yes, there is a scene where Maul is oh, we're going to use your rage. How are we going to deal with this and all this stuff? But then the next scene, when he does separate himself from Vader, his goal isn't let's get the hell out of here because there's this threat. It's I just want to see what she does, and it's just a little strange, especially the main meat of Maul's development is him facing what was done to him in the past. And there's a fascinating parallel story between Maul and Anakin that I would love to explore. It's just not what we explored.
Yeah. I compare, another villain with this same issue is Cad Bane in the Book of Boba Fett. Also introduced at the very end. There's a lot of potential to Cad Bane being the villain of a Boba story. Their storylines have obviously followed a lot of the same material. You have, the heavy implication that Boba had killed Cad Bane at one point. He's got that plate in his head. The fact that, Boba's father died as like a mercenary, and now you've got this other person who's still doing that same thing. But none of it gets explored in the show. They kind of just see each other, talk a little bit, and then he dies. And it's, conceptually there's some cool stuff, and a different writer could come up with like ways to frame their fight that would be cooler, but it just doesn't happen in the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah. Now, they did a lot better with Vader than they did with Cad Bane in the Book of Boba Fett. I will stand by that. But, like Lord Goop said, he did, rather panicking, push Daki so he could escape. But then he didn't escape. That's, like, if that's what he did, that would make sense.
Well, no, two things can be true at the same time. He was panicked, and he was backing off. He was looking for a chance to actually escape unnoticed, but he was also conflicted. He was conflicted about doing it because he also wanted to proffer Devon, right? He was wondering if this would affect those propositions. I don't think he like pushed Daki and then like kind of stuck around because he wasn't trying to escape.
I very much interpret Maul pushing Daki and then him kind of like staring down Devon is like, I think he just got lost in the fact that like, oh, Devon is really falling. My plans are working perfectly, even though it's not the way I intended for this to go down.
His ego, yeah.
I think it's his ego, and like because the way the camera pans to him smiling, like it worked.
But him registering any of that fundamentally overrides the notion of panic. He's not panicking. He's still keeping his wits and paying attention to his machinations. Like, what does he do at any point that indicates panic?
The fact that he wants to live and get away.
That's not panic. That's reason.
No, I mean,
knowing that Vader is a dangerous being is not panicking. It's
emotions don't override each other. They compound.
Okay, but any indication of panic, like being a reasonable person and knowing that Vader is dangerous is one thing. Is he frantic? Does he look for an exit like desperately at any point? What action does he take that indicates that he's panicking?
He pushes Daki instead of joining him.
That's kind of textbook Sith. There is nothing panicking about that. He was raised his entire life to be one. He's not that.
All I'm arguing or pushing forth is that he can be panicked and also be measured at the same time. These are not two mutually exclusive emotions, especially Maul.
Choco kind of is on the same they sort of are. Measurement is not panic. Keeping a cool head and panicking are diametrically opposed.
Composure is diametrically opposed to panic. But you can be panicked and calculated and measured in your approach.
I think measure and calculation are composure.
You can do something in a panic and then proceed to do something measured.
So I guess the question becomes, what is the panic? Because I felt like what they were trying to establish is, holy crap, this Vader guy is a force of nature. We can't stand against him. We gotta go. But that's not what Maul was doing. And we know that that's not what he was doing, just because as soon as he left eyesight, line of sight, knowing that threat is behind him still, and it is still coming, doesn't flee.
Yeah, he does.
No, he doesn't. He stands there and he watches and he waits for Vader to come, and then they have to face him again.
But
that's
then
that's the disconnect.
But then you're removing the part where Devon wants revenge, and he says, "No, we have to get out of here now," and he pulls her, and compels and beckons her to
after
escape.
Vader enters and comes up. Yeah.
So that doesn't suggest that he's not concerned with survival at that point.
No one said he was not concerned with survival. That was never on the table.
Being concerned with survival is not the same as panicking. One is reason. Like, if a train is coming towards me, I can keep a level head and still say I want to live through this.
Well, no, this is why I was saying emotions don't override; they compound, and then they happen in sequence.
Yeah, but he's
so
still
the threat of Vader is there for him to make this panicked decision because they're both in line with each other, and as soon as Daki pushes forward, he has that moment to join him, but instead he stops, and then he pushes Daki, and then he looks back at Devon.
He stops and takes weight of things, which is not a panic reaction. He chooses to betray Daki. Like, treachery is the way of the Sith, and it's the way Maul has been taught his entire life. He doesn't really have much reason not to betray some random Jedi. He doesn't care about Daki. He cares about Devon. So I don't think that him selling Daki out indicates that he's panicking. I think he just says this is something that can hold this guy off.
All right, we're going in circles.
X-Core put in the definition of panic, right? It's a sudden, intense feeling of fear or terror that overrides rational thought, often causing frantic behavior.
And yet there's never a point where Maul does anything irrational. Sacrificing Daki is perfectly in character for him.
It's in character.
In fact, it felt like it honestly didn't feel like he felt that Vader was insurmountable. Maybe just in his current state with the damage he had taken, but he specifically threw Daki because he wanted Devon to turn, right? And that's why he didn't run away. He went to go see her reaction to her master dying and witness that. That's the point. It wasn't the fear of Vader. It wasn't this is a force of nature we're running from. This is a catalyst for this person who I want to be my apprentice. That's all.
It was a calculated move.
We're going in circles. I'll read some affirmative monster comments. Gage says Maul panics when he's looking between Daki and the temple, and then he makes his decision and becomes methodical once he realized he has a way to mess with Devon. Phineas says, I didn't think the push had any actual impact on the fight between Daki and Vader. Oh no, lost it. It's only consequences if Lawson seeing it comes into play later. X-Core says panic is a sudden intense
he did
feeling.
an actual force push to him, but yeah.
Harith edits, highlight my message. It's the definition of panic. Harith's not controlling things.
I'm not in control of this.
It's on auto. I guess the thing that I'll say bottom line is this is why we do what we do.
Yeah.
Because we are going to disagree on this point. And that's where it's going to end, because we all disagree on our favorite Star Wars movies. We all have disagreements on our readings of scenes. We all have disagreements about their execution of Vader, whether Vader was needed, whether Vader was necessary.
But this last part was a disagreement with Merriam-Webster.
No,
that's different.
No, it's not actually. And
that's the definition in Merriam-Webster. The Merriam-Webster
No,
dictionary.
I'm saying you're inviting more circular. If we're going by the
I've
textbook
seen that tree before.
If we're going by the textbook definition, you have semantically in that definition sudden. So it's not something that is consistent or sustained, right? And that goes with Gage's reading of the scene, where he panics during this moment, and then he becomes calculated when he sees Devon, and kind of figures out what his other option is. Let's see. Cypher says Maul is calm and calculated character, and seeing him terrified, broken as we do earlier in the series is exclusively about Sidious and how he has destroyed everything in his life. I mean, there's also we can point to that scene as well where I even see Panic in the way that he is viewing these flashbacks as well. Trying to kind of self-soothe himself. But again, I just think that like all of this stuff is just compounding. You know, there's a lot of stuff happening during that scene that any number of things can be going through Maul's head. And just because he has a history of being calm and calculated doesn't mean that there isn't any moments where he's like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, him having things he's afraid,
which was never the claim.
More compelling, you know. In Rebels, we've all noted as the show was running that, like he says, like I can't fight Vader. The idea that he was also afraid of Vader is an interesting thing to pull on. Like I think it's a cool notion. Someone commented like him seeing Vader as the sort of personification of Palpatine's fist that the rest of the galaxy does extends that fear naturally to Vader. And I think like the theoretical concept of Maul being afraid of Vader is really cool.
Yeah.
But
I also had established it.
Interesting.
And right, I brought it up as an idea for season 2. If we don't want to put Vader as a looming threat, but not actually show up at the finale, just to do like more like, oh, Vader's here to Aura Farm again, as like this is the effect of the finale that's still haunting Maul, was kind of the idea.
Exactly, and that's what I'm hoping for, right? Because for me, that would fix what I view as something that may have been improved, but like now we can establish, you know, maybe his thoughts and feelings towards Anakin and kind of a parallel story, and you know, in his dreams and madness, this is a looming threat that he has faced in the past that he will have to overcome in the future, and that'll make it better.
Because I even like the idea of like Vader doesn't appear at all again in the show. He's afraid of him for the rest of the duration of the show, and then Rebels is they come to blows again, or they don't come to blows, but they get close to each other again. I like the idea that there's long gaps of time between the two Vader encounters.
Yeah.
Someone's comment in the chat reminded me. There's also a scene in their first break from fighting Vader that Maul is pacing back and forth and mumbling to himself, which can also be viewed as panic.
Yeah, I don't think you understand at least my concern with it, because you keep bringing things that aren't relevant to the point. But that's okay.
You can also clarify as well.
It's been plenty of time. We can move forward.
I think it's more about, you know, if they wanted him to be panicking, they could have actually put that into some of his actions taken during the fight. They could have put anything showing like the idea of him being haunted by Vader in this next season is interesting. You know, honestly, the movie that keeps coming to my mind is anyone see the new Puss in Boots?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Death. You know, you can see how haunted that cat is by death, and you can see, you know, it does a great job of showing how outmatched he is. This doesn't really do either. Like, he's a threat, but no more than, you know, any other time Vader shows up to fight anyone else in his other last minute show up to beat them up scene. I could point to like Cal Kestis is facing the same thing, and he's not particularly haunted by Vader. Because like, it's a dangerous person, but that doesn't mean that he's panicking. That just means he understands this threat. If Maul is going to be like haunted by visions of Vader, that's a cool thing. But I just don't think that this ending has sold him being all that impacted by it, considering he's still pretty chill with Devon after, you know, he's chatting with the Crimson Dawn guys and Dradden Voss about like, yeah, I'll take care of your business.
And I find it funny that you bring up Puss in Boots because of Brendan Lawson's voice actor playing Render, obviously,
That's
and
also
Dad.
a reason it was on the mind.
I see where you're coming from, but I still think that the Puss in Boots, it's not analogous, right? Because different people respond differently, right? So we're not going to see the same level. We're not going to see the same level of expression across different characters.
I guess I would just like to see any expression.
Nemo says there is levels to panic. Maul isn't having a whole panic attack. That's debilitating. Let's see. April says, I hope there's no time skip. Dale Skywalker says, Maul's vision offered to Devon is the perfect way to paint that picture. He may think about it enough to figure out that it's Anakin, though. I think we all agreed that like he's figured it out.
Huh.
I mean, there's no relevance for him to tell Docky and Devon. There's like, what would that add to the narrative?
If anything, it would detract from it.
I think the issue is that we have to guess. I think putting Maul and Vader opposite each other and never addressing any of their shared history is a little odd.
I think it was, I don't disagree with the notion. I think it was I think from a writing standpoint, they were like, because they're so worried about like the voice of Vader with the passing of James Earl Jones. They're like, we can't voice the character because there's still gonna be that uncanny valley. So they're just like, we're not gonna really expand on it. 'Cause I think that was the thing they were afraid of. If I had to guess, in the writers' room,
I'm on the side that I don't think they really wanted to give him lines to begin with. He's more imposing as a kind of like a figure that just breathes down your neck.
I want to comment at the VGC. They have no shared history. Maul killed Anakin's father figure, fought his master twice, and fought his apprentice on Mandalore.
Yeah,
the last time
Anakin
Anakin saw his beloved apprentice was when she was going to fight Maul.
Anakin doesn't witness that.
He's aware that Qui-Gon died.
He's aware that Qui-Gon died. He saw a black hooded figure like approach the ship, and then Qui-Gon says, get on, and like...
Is the claim here that he doesn't know who killed Qui-Gon? Because everyone knows who killed Qui-Gon. They know it was Maul.
So there's the Obi-Wan Anakin comic.
Anakin's Anakin doesn't sit in on that council meeting.
But there's the Obi-Wan Anakin comic in canon where Anakin trains against the battle droid. That's Maul. Because remember, he's like, Obi-Wan, teach me everything about the way Maul fights, so he can program it to be Maul.
Right, but he still hasn't met Maul.
Has Obi-Wan been keeping this? He still killed his father figure. Anakin really liked Qui-Gon and talks about him for the next 12 years.
And then also when he goes in the epilogue of Clone Wars, he presumes Ahsoka is dead by the hands of Order 66 of his own actions, and also kind of Maul too.
Right, but there's still no connection between the two. Like we get that talk from Taki, like he wouldn't so easily access your mind if a connection wasn't formed between you two. They haven't met. There's no inadvertent force bond created by the two. Anakin has never met Maul.
This is not.
Yeah, I think it's not so much that. He's not saying there's a shared history, as in like they grew up together, but like if. I would love to have to see conversations between Qui-Gon Jinn and Rael Averross, because they grew up. They both had the same master, maybe not at the same time, but they have these shared experiences that give each other interesting insight into each other. That's what I think it's more akin to. It's not they have a bond together because they spent so much time together. It's they were both groomed by the same man towards the same goal, and only one of them got it.
Maul was replaced by Anakin, and he knows how well Sidious has been training him for this purpose.
And obviously they're not going to reference it in the show because it doesn't matter, but also Siege of Mandalore, the whole point was to drag Anakin to Mandalore so Maul could basically pull him away from Sidious and destroy all of Sidious's plans.
Orchestrated all of that just to kill Anakin, and now doesn't have a word to say?
What is the... So is that your argument here? That they should share words?
Yes. In most narratives, that's kind of a tradition.
I see. The thing is, most of the time in Vader media, he is 110% trying to push back on the identity of Anakin.
Yeah, he should be pushing it away.
And even across from Obi-Wan, he's like, Anakin's dead. I have no idea who this guy is. Like, he's dead.
And that was a good scene.
And when you try to elicit that kind of I guess pseudo rapport with Vader and Maul, it doesn't make sense to me. I don't think Vader cares about Maul at this point. Like, Vader
doesn't need to care about Maul. Maul should care about Vader and should bring that up. Like, Vader also says
I don't think he knew Vader was Anakin until he figured it out and had to actively escape the scene.
Didn't we just say that we talked about him muttering on, this is a Sith Lord. If we're presuming, when is it we're presuming that he put together this is Anakin? He knows that Sidious was grooming Anakin. He knows that this is a Sith Lord. He knows this is Sidious's new apprentice.
And then he also says he presumes he's a former Jedi.
And this is a part of my issue with Vader showing up here, is that we are guessing this.
But earlier on, he's asking, "What are you? I don't know who you are." And then the first reprieve with Daki, he's like, "It can't be. This can't be." So he's actively doing the math or the calculus to this.
So at that point,
and then he figures it out. But I don't think that would elicit any type of conversation between the two.
Why? That's what narrative is about.
Because Maul's never met Anakin. Anakin's never met Maul. They've never exchanged words before, ever. And even if
you are the person my master replaced me with,
and giving you and granting you that, it's not Anakin, it's Vader.
Okay, so Vader can say that in the scene. He can reject that, like, I don't know what you think you have, you were rejected because you were weak. You weren't good enough, and now you're holding that against me.
I don't know. I'm not wanting that exposition.
No, so
that's character.
Well, I also wouldn't want that exposition, at least not directly. I'm still firmly on, if we are establishing Maul's narrative, we're spending time in Maul's head, seeing Maul's visions, that should be the through line. And this is injecting something else in there that could potentially have like a rich narrative and a rich story unto itself. It just wasn't done. That's all.
Like, yeah, Pep, I'll lean into what you're saying. Okay, say Maul doesn't care about Vader. Say Vader doesn't care about Maul. These two characters have nothing to say to each other and no reason to interact whatsoever. All the more reason he shouldn't be here. If he has absolutely nothing to say, if there is not even a conceptual conversation the two could have, why is he in the Maul show?
We have extenuating circumstances outside of their interpersonal dynamics. He is the Lord of the Inquisitorius. The Inquisitors are hunting. They've confirmed Maul's presence. They report back to someone who is a superior. So okay, I get that you're trying to... I don't know what you're trying to... I'm not going to assume or put words in your mouth, but... It makes sense that he's there. It also makes sense that he wouldn't be there. Both of these outcomes make sense. But what I'm saying is neither Vader nor Maul have any reason to exchange words. Vader is there to eliminate them or kill them and kill everybody else that the Inquisitors have been hunting, and that's it.
Every story set within the 20 years from Revenge of the Sith to A New Hope could potentially feature Darth Vader as the most powerful enforcer of the all-expansive empire that is dominating the galaxy. Solo could have had Darth Vader in it, because these are crime lords, and it makes perfect sense that Vader comes to stomp out Crimson Dawn for some reason. I could come up with a reason that Vader could show up in anything, but if it's not serving the characters, if it's not serving the main character's story, then he shouldn't be. Because he can be doing anything else. He can be busy. He's off fighting some other former Sith Lord. He's just not doing this. And if he's doing this, then he should have some emotional weight, some weight in the narrative to bring him here.
But I personally think right now you're rewriting things to suit that, though. Because Vader serves the purpose of killing killing Daki, being that all imposing threat. Because if it's just the Grand Inquisitor, I think that if everything stays the same, right, and we're not rewriting anything, and it's just the Grand Inquisitor and the other two have been kind of sidelined by Devon, that means Maul pushes Daki into Grand Inquisitor and then kind of dips. I think Daki doesn't lose as easily to.
Yeah, they don't need to. I'm not saying like we need to just pluck out Vader and plop someone else in. You can rewrite any number of episodes.
I'm not trying to rewrite any episodes. That's the thing.
I'm criticizing. I'm pointing out things that didn't work in the episodes they did write. Which is, I kind of thought what we were here aiming to do. I mean, isn't that?
Yeah, we are. But this
so
is part of the back and forth.
Rewriting something is sort of the nature of that. It's saying this doesn't work as it is. Here's something they should have done. They could do any number of things, any number of conflicts that arise from anywhere.
Does anybody else have anything else? Cub Costs, how you doing, man?
I'm just enjoying the show. I don't know. Like I honestly see where you're both coming from. I really do.
Actually, it's kind of the issue with Phantom Menace too. Maul doesn't know either of these people and has little consequence to care about them, so there's not a lot of emotional weight to the finale.
I mean, also at the same time, like, I'm like Cupcoast. I can see both sides of the coin, even though I kind of started this accidentally with just like ideas for season 2. Sorry, not sorry.
Well, this is why we exist, though. Like, so other shows would devolve into chuttery, like
right. No, but my point of this again, I was not finished. Was the going to the Phantom Menace art criticism, because I do agree with that criticism. Even Lucas has said it after the fact of I shouldn't have killed Maul. I had the perfect antagonist for the trilogy. Hence why he brought him back in Clone Wars, because he's like, this is narratively satisfying, and I missed it while thinking about the overall vision of Anakin's fall. Because he wanted to have the 3 ideologies of Vader, of the anger, the vengeance, the manipulator, and the machine.
Yeah.
That's where he lost kind of sight of Maul. So I do agree with that Phantom Menace criticism. That was kind of my point to that. But going back to the Maul, like, Vader thing I agree with Cupco's of, I see both sides of the coin of, I wanted a little bit more, not from Vader, but more from Maul's POV of this happening. More, it doesn't even need to be in this finale, it just needs to be going forward in the show, was my argument for that.
Yes.
So, just clarifying everything across the board.
We're all still friends. X-Core says Vader serves the purpose of aura farming. Lore Masters Pod says, are we forgetting that Vader's main job is hunting Jedi? Maul is just the side quest. Nemo says it does work. Goob says, I'd say it's the only logical thing that Vader would show up. Nemo says it may not be liked, but it 100% works based on how Vader is consistently written. KG says, fancy debate.
It definitely makes sense that Vader shows up. You know, that he would be called in by the Inquisitors. It makes perfect sense that he would, kill the Master and all that. I just
if we were going to do that, like, again, he could just earlier in the show too. Yeah.
It just feels like the narrative through line the show was setting up could have benefited from something else, versus this constant threat in the world of Star Wars that could show up at any time. You could write something that benefits more from the established narrative within the context of the show.
Cypher has a good point. Cypher has a good point relevant to what you just said. When we know there is a season 2 confirmed, I think the argument that it should be talked about is a moot point. Exposition about Vader and Maul can happen when Maul talks to Devon in season 2.
Which is something I've already explicitly
Yeah,
said. is
it
that
was
now
more
that
of a
this has happened,
speculation kind of, this would be cool if they did this.
that
was
way it establishes Vader / Anakin as part of Maul's narrative moving forward. It was just a something being introduced that could always be introduced, but it's less satisfying than something that would play through. It's like if you were watching I don't know, The Italian Job, and then all of a sudden the cops bust in and arrest everyone, and you're like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
That's not the narrative we were setting up throughout this whole journey, but it makes sense, and it works within the context. That's all. But I love seeing Vader. I love seeing him do badass things, and I love seeing him powerful, which is fine. Which I think was the intent of his placement here.
I would not be upset if he doesn't appear in season 2. I would not be upset if this is all we get.
I think you could get the same effect with like talking about him.
I think so. I agree with that.
I think if we were to take tally of this entire panel, I think we were all kind of like, we didn't need Vader in this show, like at the very beginning. Nemo says the emotional weight is about Qui-Gon dying, not specifically because Maul as a character is there to kill him. BJ Smith says, as Bucky Barnes said in Civil War, there's not usually much talking in a fight.
That's never been the case for Star Wars, though. They always stop to monologue.
I always will make the argument
Not as much as anime people.
No, but I will make the argument with like
Anime's excessive.
lightsaber fights are, I think, in my opinion, like when I enjoy them the most is when you have conflict between characters and they have a conversation through the fight. I mean, look at Return of the Jedi. It's my favorite fight. Or Kenobi, or Twin Sons. Those are 3 examples of characters having conversations through a fight.
You'll see 2 people in an anime clash swords, and then they're like, when I was a child, I was abandoned, and now this has led to all this.
No, but like, we were using Star Wars as an example, like where they have conversations in a fight.
Exactly. Yeah. The best ones are the ones where it's the emotional weight that matters, not the physical. Can I beat this person? Twin Sons is an example of that. 2 hits and it's over, but it's fantastic.
I will make another. I mean, I guess it's a lukewarm take at this. I need Vader to show up in season 2. I just rewatched the scene. Maul 100% is not panicked. I'm sorry. I'm rewatching it right now.
I mean,
he pretty casually. When he does, no, and I'm not saying that it's a negative thing that he's not panicked. I'm saying that I actually enjoy. I actually like that his character in this moment, because they believe fully that they can take Vader at this point in time, and he gives up on that to give a catalyst to Devon and to do what he can to push her further. It's just at this point in time, I just don't see him seeing Vader as the massive threat that I believe him to see Vader as in Rebels, and so I would think we should establish that.
I'm not saying you're saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying we're not going back to that because 2 different people can watch the same scene and have different readings of it. And
I'll point out, actually.
And that's just where it is.
I kind of
maybe, but I highly recommend you rewatch the scene and watch how he reacts, because it's not like a I can see what he mean. Like after rewatching him, like I don't see a shadow of that.
I mean, I'm not concerned about being right or wrong here. I mean, that's how I read the scene. That's all.
And I was just explaining why I need Vader to show up in season 2 to establish the threat. That's all.
I think there's some merit to trying to find like the truth in it. What feels most natural for like where the characters are at. I like the idea that Maul kind of has learned from Sidious. He had one plan, and it was, we'll work together, you'll use your anger, and we'll take Vader. And at a certain point, he realized, like, no, this is not going to go that way. I'm pivoting. And he said, all right, easiest thing to do, throw you under the bus, and I take my out. It's exactly what Sidious would do. And while Maul, we had commented, someone in the chat had said, like, Maul is not literally a Sith. Like, yes, he still learned from the Sith his entire life. The Sith philosophy is still ingrained on him. He's still looking for an apprentice to keep, while he may not call it the rule of two anymore, he still is going to keep himself and an apprentice. He's very much Sidious's student, even if he is not a Sith anymore.
And I mean, he's looking for someone to help him take down Sidious.
And also,
that's who he's afraid of.
And also, I will add this to the chat. I know this doesn't really relate to the discussion, but I just have the comment pop up. I don't even want Sidious to pop up in the show at all, because I don't think it lines up with Sidious in canon. Sidious shows up in Clone Wars to basically destroy Maul's little toys. He's like, all right, he's getting a little too powerful. I need him to take out Mother Talzin. He takes him out, and then he's like, I'm done with Maul. I don't really care about him anymore.
I mean, but if there's a scene that involves the Empire, then he can show up. Like,
exactly. He can cut away to it.
I kind of think we're getting a little bit over, like, we're overreacting with, like, people showing up. Like, there could be a scene where we do get Vader and he's reporting to Sidious and Sidious shows up.
Right, no, but I meant more like Sidious shows up to fight Maul again. Like, that wouldn't be
I don't think Sidious would fight Maul.
Exactly. Yep. No chance that they meet again. Maul would die.
Cypher says, please read this one. Okay. But you can't really criticize Season 1 when Season 1 is about Lawson versus the Empire and Devon and Daki versus the Empire. Season 2 will almost certainly be Maul and Devon and Vader is the through line between both their stories.
I can
Not
definitely
necessarily.
Season 1.
I also feel like the Lawsons are going to be pretty... They put that narrative when Lawson goes sacrifice himself, go to your mother, basically. Riley is going to be a part of the plot one way or another. With that little line. That was set up for Season 2.
It also still is about Maul. Like, it's about those other two as well. But, it's like, is Empire Strikes Back about Luke or is it about Han and Leia? It's like, it can be both.
I'm curious to see if maybe, Riley hatches his own plot. Like, he goes to his mom, who works for the Empire, and he's like, you know what? Let's I'm gonna try and take this thing down from the inside because it's pretty damn rotten.
But I also like the idea of, like, obviously this doesn't mean. Yeah, I agree. I like the idea of, like, because someone said it on Pod One's Instagram. I'm not just echoing this, but I kind of agree.
Partisan.
I like the idea of Riley trying to defect Devon from Maul, like Riley kind of being the angel on Devon's shoulder of like you shouldn't go down this path. Daki doesn't want this for you. This is wouldn't he want it? Like, kind of them both responding to grief in different ways.
I like that Riley is really, like, he's a completely open canvas. There are so many directions they could take him, and I'm really interested to see what they'll go with.
And we don't have a similar analog. Like, we don't have any other characters like him.
Maybe he'll get the bikini.
Wilmon, well, not like one-to-one facsimile, but like, I say that because I'm imagining Riley's like all disillusioned with his mom, and he's getting all rebellious, and then like Sock shows up and he's like, breathe it in.
Let it ride!
Run wild.
I've gotten half the galaxy hooked on Rido!
Nima says, Vader showing up is always disrupting the narrative. I mean, yeah, truly.
I think the issue that people have with Vader showing up in this show is that they've gone to that well so many times before. Mm-hmm. We see it in Rogue One, we see it in Fallen Order, we see it in Rebels. He shows up in Star Wars Outlaws, for crying out loud. Like, and the funny thing is that in this show, I think it actually made the most narrative sense for Vader to show up. But the fact that they've done it so many times before is what dilutes this one. But I
also think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Choco. What Choco said earlier kind of makes sense in this regard. That, like, yeah, sure, Vader shows up in the last 2 episodes, but like we got 8 episodes prior without him, so it's kind of like they're going to sprinkle 9. These. I'm sorry.
I would argue 9 because Vader doesn't show up to the last 15 seconds of 9, so you technically got 9 episodes without Vader.
Right. So as it relates to what Choco said, like they're just throwing them a little bit and then giving us
And
like
yes,
the
no,
substance.
100%. 100%. It's hush puppies. It's hush chuddies. Is what it is.
Yeah,
And
that was
that's
also
what I don't.
That was also my argument for the Devon Brender being the focal point of the show. Is they are hiding this as a Maul show and Vader and all these ore farms for hush puppies, and then the actual real meat of the bone is the Devon and Docky stuff and some of the Maul stuff. That
So
is the
really-
real meat of the story.
Really, I shouldn't complain because I thought this entire show was just going to be hush chuddies, and we got a really strong narrative for most of it. But I feel like that should be the norm and not the. You know what I mean?
You know what?
I feel exactly like I did at the end of Mando season 2. Love seeing Luke. Fantastic.
And I will mention Choco, like, I was also in the same boat about this show before it came out. When it got announced, I was like, oh, great, this is going to be the Hush Puppy the show. I didn't say that. I said that was more like the Chud show, but like, that was more my reaction. And I was like very negative. Every trailer I was like, oh, great, this is going to be the show for the grifters to go, yay, we got Maul Edgelord stuff. And then the show came out, and I went, I was wrong. The first 2 episodes, I was like, this is actually good.
Yeah,
This is just aura farming the show.
Maul exceeded my expectations, which were pretty low expectations.
I do think people have really latched onto this show. Not so much just in full-on chuddery, but I spoke to Aaron a couple weeks ago about how on week 1...
For me, he turned into a
when this
robot
show
and then
came
disappeared.
out, I came
Did
across a
anyone
TikTok,
else
which was
experience
my
that?
top
Still
5
talking.
Star Wars. Oop, sorry, what?
No, I mean, you kind of
Technical issues.
you bamped out for Choco.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't hear Choco anymore, I don't think, actually.
But we
Check
hear you.
inside.
Okay, sorry. On week 1, when this show came out, I came across a TikTok that was my top 5 Star Wars shows, and number 2 was Maul Shadow Lord, and this was after 2 episodes were out of this show. And I think people really latched onto this show and have been very, very hyperbolic around it. And like, this is the best thing ever. This is peak Star Wars. And like, just bring it down a little bit, like, it's a good show. I would say maybe even a great show. I do think it has some issues, but
Online discourse has forgotten anything in the middle. It's either the worst thing that's ever come out or peak.
I would argue it's
I
not
will
even
say-
in my top 3 of animated Star Wars projects, and that's not an indictment on the show. I'm just saying it's just 1 season in, and I can't give it that spot yet.
but
Well,
at least
you
that's
know-
there after the season, not after 2 episodes.
As we say, different strokes for different folks. I mean, it's certainly top 5 in animation for me, but I think like it definitely speaks to at least the impact of a show to have us talking about it in this way, like whether it be criticisms or flaws of the show. Like, there are some shows, and it might just be because I personally run this show by the seat of my pants. There are some shows where it's just like, we have 10 minutes left in the episode, and we're just like, oh, okay, let's talk about this show, and then we have to end things. But we've literally been talking about this show for the last hour and a half, which I will, in like a minute now, have to hard stop us. But just wanted to read a few more comments from the monsters. Cypher says, my comment earlier was not that you can't criticize season 1 as a whole. To be clear, I meant season 1 in a vacuum when you know season 2 is confirmed. If Vader is on Maul's mind in season 2, then ending was wonderful. Vidya says, if Devon doesn't die, I would like it if Riley is a reason that she returns to the light. I mean, I said it throughout this our entire reaction series. I wanted Devon to stay in the light. Like, everyone that falls to the dark side loses their personality, and I love Devon and Docky. Which is odd because like it usually takes a while for me to kind of like warm up to new, like absolutely new characters.
Also, Docky was a freaking beast. I'm sorry. That dude, he had hands,
I love how Maul went from, okay, we're going to get rid of Docky as soon as possible, to I actually need to rely on this guy to live.
Maul saved Darky and like told him to get out while he was fighting, and like again, he didn't betray him until the very end when it was like a necessity. It reminded me of DJ in The Last Jedi when he does in Finn and Rhodes. He only ever did it when it was the last option available to him.
Lord,
You're
Gibb
in good
says-
hands with Darky.
Lord Gibb says the guy in Maul face painting is telling everyone to chill.
It's the vibe.
But with that said, guys, thank you so much for coming on tonight and having this conversation.
Agreed, Phidias.
Thank you to the monsters in the chat. I'm not a monster, I'm a person, and my name is everyone in the Dyad chat is a Dyad monster. But thank you guys so much for hanging out this long into the episode. It's only these episodes where we're like knee deep in discourse that it goes on fully, like full well on into the night. Thank you to Harith for calling in. Thank you to Alex and Cub Koss. We'll start with Harith. Anything you want to say upon exit?
That was certainly a discussion. You can find me over at Hair Productions on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads, and of course, you can follow me over at the Pod Ones on YouTube for any Star Wars discussions.
Awesome. Alex.
I will also say it's been such a pleasure. I hope that we're all passionate. We all love this series, and I hope that no one in the audience, or I don't think you guys do, because I've been on here before. I hope that no one takes
not friends anymore.
It's over. I'm not beating a celebration. I'm kidding.
Yeah, we're gonna ice you out in celebration.
We're gonna show up and it's gonna be like Maul and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan seeing each other on Naboo, like just
No, I'm just gonna walk over to Alex and go, "Are you panicked?"
You will be. It's been so much fun. Thank you so much for having me. Everyone, you can find me at Alex Lezio on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and I'll again mention Archive of Our Own if you want to read any of my Star Wars writing. I'm gonna have to do some Maul stuff now. Now I'm thinking so much about it. But yeah, it's been a blast.
Awesome. Cub Cause.
You can find me at Cubcause Star Wars TikTok and on YouTube at Cubcause, a Star Wars channel. Maul Shadow Lord was great. The scene where they all lock sabers for that 1 second, that shit got me pregnant. That was amazing. And that's coming from someone that doesn't usually care that much about saber fights. Like, I like them, but they're not the be-all end-all for me. So the fact that I'm saying that, good shit. And I expect to see a live-streamed fist fight between Pep and Alex at Celebration next year.
I'll film it. I'll be the one filming it.
We're all like actual Star Wars fans. So when a lightsaber fight is hype, it's hype. When a lightsaber fight tells a story, it's hype. Like, the other guys are just like, I just want to see one side of this. I don't care. Let's see here. Cypher says, just wanted to say, you guys are the only content creators I like for Star Wars. Everyone else is way too toxic. Appreciate that. We love, as heated as our discourse can get, it's just discourse. And at the end of the day, like, my number one movie is someone's number 10. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. That was definitely one of the discussions of all time. Thanks for the great stream. Have a great weekend, everyone. Happy Mom's Day, if there are any here. Choco, final thoughts.
Final thoughts is that this is an amazing panel, and to just take a brief moment, this panel collectively ranks last episode 9, second to last episode 2, then episode 1. We're not a prequel group, I guess. Then Solo. Then The Force Awakens. At number 7 is episode 3.
Yes! Yes! We're based!
Collectively, we have episode 7 as number 3. Episode 3 is number 7. Rogue One is number 6. A New Hope is at number 5. The Last Jedi at number 4. Return of the Jedi. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm doing this. The titles are at number 1. I'm sorry. Take all those and move them up one.
We're just at 6. No.
So the top 3 are The Last Jedi, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back.
Hey.
Okay. And then what? A New Hope was 4 then?
Yes, A New Hope would be at number 4, Rogue One at 5, Episode 3 at 6. Yeah, and then this is a good group. I can live with this. I feel it feels right. It feels right.
It's called we have taste.
With that said, thank you guys so much. That's it. On to the
Thanks
next
for having
one.
us.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Peace, y'all.
Oh, may the force be with you.